fuck is the internet?
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Poop shoot. Yeah. Shit, does it say who's fucking playing us in the movie?
No, but it's Miramax, so I'm sure it'll be Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You know, they put them in a bunch of movies.
Who?
You know, those kids from Good Will Hunting.
You mean that fucking movie with Wort from Orc in it?
Jay and Silent Bob are stupid characters, a couple of stoners who spout dumbass catchphrases like a third-rate Cheech and Chong or Bill and Ted. Fuck Jay and Silent Bob. Fuck them up their stupid asses.
I'm gonna kill all these fucks. And all these people reading that shit think the real Jay and Silent Bob are a couple of jerk-offs because what all these dickheads are writing about the comic book Jay and Silent Bob. Ooh, check that shit out, man, the internet. Let's see if those fucks wrote something new about us or that stupid-ass flick. Any movie based on Jay and Silent Bob are gonna lick balls because they both, in fact, lick balls.
It was at that moment that I first realized Elaine had doubts about our relationship. And that, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem.
Large is large. In fact, tall is large, and grande is Spanish for large. Venti's the only one that doesn't mean large. It's also the only one that's Italian. Congratulations, you're stupid in 3 languages.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
What do you guys give me if I kill that bird? Barbara, that's a bald eagle. Get away, Baldy! Yeah!
Oh, shit. Hello. Oh. It's the Wort with Mike and Pete, GovsRadio.com. Follow us on the Wort, a podcast on all our social media. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got Facebook. Pete asked what Facebook was this afternoon.
Often.
This evening, shortly before the show.
What does a Facebook person do?
What does that even mean? The facest of books.
Very much out of my wheelhouse.
Wow, we got so much to get into today. I'm really loud. Maybe it's just my headphones. I've seen really loud. Let me turn.
Or your personality.
No, I don't have a loud personality. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the Wort with Mike and Pete, GovsRadio.com. We are now streaming on our YouTube page. We started a little late today. We had a little transition with Govs Radio personnel. Steve Squared show came up right before us. Hopefully they're in the car listening back, saying, hey, who are those guys that just walked in here? And they have a podcast right after us. So, so we just kind of swapped studios out. It took us an extra few minutes to do that. Our phone lines are open all night tonight, 516-465-3990, 516-513-0515. If you go on to our, and I got to replace that later at the break because I have the other lower third. It was a different one. That's right. And it just doesn't have the hops thing on there. Whatever. No big deal. Our YouTube page also has the information, our social media name, and our phone number, so check it out. Go over to YouTube, type in The Wort, spelled Wort, pronounced Wort, a podcast, or Mike and Pete, or any variation thereof of keywords such like that. And you shall find us live streaming there. In studio today, we have Ken from Secatogue. Right here on Long Island.
You got it, first try.
I did.
That's right.
That's why I had to put that little in there because it's the only way I'm going to get it out right. And we were talking before the show and the name, and I said, that's a lot to say. It's not hard to pronounce once you see it, but to remember, at first it's going to be like, oh, what did it say? Once you know it, though, no one's ever going to forget that.
It's like riding a bike.
That's right.
In a way, surely. What kind of bike? Unicycle? Tandem?
A dugout canoe kind of bike.
What?
I don't even know what that is.
Is it a bike in a canoe?
You guys remember like 4th grade social studies? Dugout canoe? No?
Dugout canoe.
Native Americans? No?
The only canoe I knew was something of a different nature. Graz will tell us about that later. And we expect Graz to give us a call a little later today. And again, our phone lines are open, 516-465-3990. And here in the studio, like I said, we have Ken from Secatogue. And how's everything going tonight, Ken?
It's going great.
Nice. Thanks
Happy
a lot
to
for
be
coming in.
Yeah.
We reached out to you and jumped at the opportunity, and we had to fit you into our packed-out schedule for this upcoming October. I don't know if you saw the recent release on our Instagram, but we got 27A coming in. We got Harborhead. We got about 3 behind that we're still trying to.
Who else
We still have to get Hopwinds. We still have Brew SA. We still have Black Forest. And then there's one more that I'm forgetting. But, you know, I said to Pete back in September, I said, we have enough people starting to come in here. We can pretty much get through the rest of 2018. And that's the goal here, is just push our way through this year and see how our year ends up and do our details and then move on from there.
Are we planning any special anniversary show?
That would be awesome. We could do that.
Should.
Depending on when some of these breweries are going to open, we could collaborate on our 1-year anniversary and their grand opening. Now you see where my gears are turning a little bit. Really quick before we start, Ken, with you, we do want to announce our one of our sponsors, mybomberjackets.com. Alex called in last show about his bomber jackets, and we finally got them in the mail. We'll be taking pictures and sporting them today, but if you decide that you want to get your 16-ounce can bomber jacket, go ahead and go on to mybomberjackets.com, type in the promo code WORT, W-O-R-T 15, WORT 15. Use the hashtag beer cleavage or the war on warm and get your bomber jacket. It makes a great Christmas gift. Pete and I got ours and a couple others, and we'll be sporting them throughout the night. Check us out on our YouTube page.
Trying to figure out how to make this beer look like a slut.
Take it. It's not slutty enough. More cleavage. So, Ken, we were talking before the show started out in the hallway, and you grew up right in the hometown in which you're opening your brewery. Yeah. So tell us a little about, how you got started and where you came from and how you decided to be in the location that you guys are going to be in.
Yeah, sure. So, I started home brewing. 21st birthday, I got a 1-gallon kit.
What was it? Was it Mr. Beery?
Yeah.
Nice.
I believe so.
No, there's nothing wrong. I think a lot of people started that way.
Yeah,
Why not?
Of course. Why not? It's easy. It's accessible. Kind of not forgot about it, but didn't pay much attention to it for a while.
Everyone's drunk in their 20s.
Right,
That's
course,
how it goes.
Of course.
Oh, shit. I started a brew, and I don't know where did I put that thing? Is it lagering in the garage in January?
It's a sour now.
Oh.
So then, about 5 years ago, I started taking it really seriously again. Started making my own recipes, and then, that snowballed into, hey, let's open a brewery. Took me about 2 years to find a location, a lot of heartache, a lot of stress. But we were luckily found a building right in my hometown. We were looking anywhere from pretty much Amityville to Bayshore.
Cool. All right. Yeah, right there on the South Shore.
Right. Yeah, trying to keep it, as close to home as possible. And luckily, we found one of the few industrial real estate buildings that were available in West Islip.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so it's right on. Is the address John or is it?
It's
Union?
It's Union.
Okay.
John Street turns into Union.
Right.
It's the corner of Union and Beach Street, right in the heart of West Islip.
Nice. So if you come in locally, if you're on Deer Park Avenue and you're coming south on Deer Park Avenue towards Merrick Road off Sunrise, there's a secondary street that kind of veers off Deer Park Avenue and that strip that people race on.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
And literally the exit ramp will take you right down within feet of where the brewery is. So I think that's a really great spot to bring funnel traffic down from the North Shore, bring people up from Merrick Road and South Shore, and get them almost right to your doorstep.
Right.
It's a great location. I drove by, I went, shit, perfect, boom. I would have jumped at it too. So you were home brewing.
Yep.
And did you start off, how did you gain the popularity enough to know that, okay, now it's time to take it to the next level?
You give your beer to your family and your friends.
Right.
And, of course, they tell you it's good. Right? Like,
it's true.
They don't want to break your heart right away.
No, of course not. They like to put your A on the refrigerator, as I say.
Of course.
Look at Kenny's A he got. It's so nice, so proud. That's awesome.
And then,
but those are your first customers. It really is.
Of course. And then they start giving it to their friends.
Correct. And that's when you get
to their friends. And then it's,
you get some real feedback.
And people are sounding like, no, this is actually a good beer. So... you know, that kind of just gave me the confidence. Like,
And what was the first beer you brewed? Not the Mr. Beery kid.
Right. So it was a pale ale.
Okay.
That it turned up being like an imperial pale ale.
Ooh.
Because you know.
Because you let it sit.
Calculations.
Oh, all right.
Whatever.
Too much what? Too much yeast? Too much sugar?
I guess
Everything?
Too much sugar.
Sure.
There, yeah. You know, early days.
What did it come in as? Did you?
It was about 8.5%.
All right.
But not crazy.
That's not crazy.
No, it was supposed
I
to
thought you were going to tell me it was like 10.
It's supposed to be 6.5, but
all right. No, 8.5, definitely drinkable.
That came out great, and you know, I just kind of went to the next one, and started experimenting. You know, the New England IPA craze came, so why not add 2 pounds of hops in a 10-gallon batch? Let's see what happens. Turns out, great beer.
It works out great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Do you still brew that pale ale, that same recipe?
It's been tweaked and refined a little bit. I call that one the Beach Fields Pale Ale. You know, a little malty, nothing too crazy. Nice, easy drinking.
Nice.
And so, did you have? I had the question, and then he said, and I'm thinking beer names already. I already got beer names in my head. But you're right there on the South Shore,
right?
So you're gonna take that South Shore feel,
right?
So, you know, the beach and the nautical themes and stuff like that are pretty heavy and present in a lot of the breweries down there. I know what the question was. So did you work with anybody prior to getting into your brewery? Did you have any other breweries that were allowing you to go to the facility and help brew beer?
Not really. I mean, I definitely got some advice from Brad and Chris over at Dubco.
Okay, cool.
You know, they gave me a lot of advice when I was starting out, and you know, even still.
They seem like big mentors to people. I hear them come up a lot in talking with people.
Because you know, they started out
same way,
and then they're building and building, and they're huge now. They're doing great. But you know, they've definitely been a big influence, big help to me.
Yeah.
But you know, besides that, it's pretty much just.
And so, where are you pulling your recipes from? Like that first pale ale, is that something that you just did some research on? And
right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and just based upon something else.
Found a recipe online. You know, looked at a couple of recipes. Like, all right, this is how they do it. You know, this is how I want to do it. And you know,
kind of hybrid the both concepts.
Right. Yeah. And then you know, until the point where I got comfortable knowing, all right, if I'm mixing these malts, these hops at this time, this is what I'm going to get.
Gotcha.
And you know.
And it's pretty much an equation and a result that you're going to get based upon, you know, your standard, I guess, variations and variables. That's what I was looking for. That, you know, X, Y, and Z is going to get you where you need to go.
Yeah, of course.
You know, minus all the cleaning and sanitizing and all the other.
It's mostly cleaning.
Yeah. Well, that's what I heard. It's like 57% cleaning. The rest is brewing and waiting.
Exactly. Yeah. The brewing's the easy part. It's
it's
everything else.
All the other shit. That's not. That's why we always say, that's why Pete and I really kind of got out of doing the home brewing, because just the amount of sanitizing and cleaning and everything that was just too much time. If we could just sit, recipe, and bounce out, and then all of a sudden magically have a couple of cases of beer 2 weeks, 3 weeks later.
Right. I want to try that Pico brewer.
Right.
Because that looks like perfect for someone like me.
You know, there's another variation of that out. I don't know if you saw it. It's being promoted through social media. It's not Pico, though. It's another one, and they're talking about it's not the packs. It's you actually get to brew with your own ingredients, and there are different compartments, and it's all timed out and temperature controlled.
Oh, I've seen.
I got to look at it again, and you get maybe a gallon, but you can do small batch experimentation, and then move on to the larger batches. So, and it's a one-stop, box. That's all you need.
Brewy, is that it?
It might be. I got to look that up again. It looks pretty cool. It's probably super expensive, probably like $300-400 just to get a 1 gallon batch, which you can probably get with just some stainless steel pots and a cardboard that's plastic and be good with it for a while.
I was using the turkey fryer for a while, so.
It's big enough,
right? Oh yeah,
it works great. And we had who do we have in that was in culinary and was able to? That was it Long Beach that they had?
Yes, he had
the pots from the pizza place.
Yep.
That's what it was. And he was able to just take some of those and weld in and change some of the I guess the brew kettle and stuff like that to match what they were looking for. That's pretty easy when you get all the same supplies there for you. So that's cool. So we're moving forward, and what did it take to get to that spot? I mean, it can't be easy being so close to Babylon and finding something that was relative, close to everything, but not, something that you couldn't work with. Like, for instance, we always talk about sewers. And so what was the checklist you were looking for when you're seeking out your spot?
You need gas. You need sewers.
Okay.
Those are
required.
Just like when you're buying a house.
Exactly. Right, yeah, exactly.
I got stuck with the oil house here. All right, I'm dealing with the bullshit, but
then find suitable location, decent enough parking.
Yeah, so tell me about the parking, because when I drove down, you're looking at the storefront, and off to the right is where the parking is.
Yeah.
So how many spots do you have? You haven't. I mean, you
lot.
do have a lot.
A lot. Town of Islip required us to have a good amount.
Yeah. So we can't park on the street
No.
necessarily. There's a little bit of a
little
shoulder,
bit of
but
parking there. But I think we have 38 spots
Nice.
total.
Oh, that's
which
pretty
is,
good.
That's not. That's pretty decent sized lot.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. For start out, yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, and that's not something you're considering really. Like, oh, I'm going to open a brewery. I need to build a parking lot.
Right.
But, that's
you don't have to do anything to it, right? It's already set up.
No, we had to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What existed in that space before?
It was there were, I believe it was a door manufacturer. It was a carpentry shop.
And you had a big enough work area back there to set up the brewery equipment?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, the building itself was a contractor's office.
Oh, okay.
And then
all right.
where the parking lot is now, there was a separate little wood shop over there.
Gotcha.
It's actually like every piece of real estate that opens up in West Islip, it was set to be a doctor's office.
It kind of has that feel. I was going to say dentist.
Right.
Like, it looks really nice from the outside.
Yeah.
It's like Art Deco pillars, right?
Yeah,
There's a couple
it's
pillars.
pillars, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You're not going to make any changes to the front, correct?
No.
No.
Pretty,
It looks nice.
Right, yeah. It
looks fancy.
It's very presentable.
That's what I said. It is. It's a fan. I mean, you think of a lot of them as being like these garages and just very boxy.
Right.
This actually looks like a really nice place, like
Yeah.
a restaurant style almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty cool. Pete's looking at it right now online.
Right, yeah.
Are you doing a Google Map overview so you can see the parking lot and everything?
I don't think it's going to be
Satellite, due to satellite connection. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
It looks great. So you're gonna put the logo right above the front door?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
The way it situates with the road and everything.
So where does the tasting room sit? Does it sit up front, or is it
it's right up front. It's on the.
All right, cool. So it's right in the front door.
Right.
Is there?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And then with the parking lot in the back.
Right.
And then half the building will be the manufacturing area.
Okay. And so, considering all that, you found your gas, you found your sewer, which definitely helps. And so the location. So everyone that lives here on Long Island knows Babylon Village. And so that is one of those areas, really big hotspot here down on the South Shore.
Right between Bayshore and Babylon.
Right.
It's kind of,
It's popping right now.
And,
the West
It's a
Islip
good location.
area,
Yeah,
the
there's
Bayshore
a lot of good places in Bayshore for restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
West Islip doesn't really have a lot.
There's no main street.
No, there's no main
I say
street.
Higby Lane is as close as it's probably going to get.
Exactly. We got,
That's-
you got a couple bars, you got a couple restaurants. Besito just came in.
Yes.
Right.
High-end Mexican. Real nice. But, there's not much else.
Right. Very residential.
Right. So that was kind of the hope was to be in the hometown and, give something back because the town deserves something like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Something kind of a destination.
It's one of those towns that a lot of people. It's good school district.
Right.
Yep.
People are looking for the houses are expensive.
It's a nice neighborhood.
Taxes are expensive, so it's a well sought after
Because there's
neighborhood.
not a lot of business.
Right.
But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's I looked there. We shopped
I did
there. We
too.
did
Yep.
same thing. We did like Massapequa to let's say West Islip in that area. And at the time when we started looking, it wasn't something we could afford. But it's a district that people are moving to, and a couple of people I knew moved out of Massapequa just to go to West Islip. And I'm like,
you get a lot of
I looked at a couple houses that were like they were in the right school district, but God,
just about
That's what you get now. It's
That's what's left. You get in the scraps. Gotta pick up some scraps. Yeah, and there's not much there. So, I mean, it does become now the staple brewery of the town.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And
it actually picks up that area, too, because that lane on Union has a couple of shops opening up in the strip malls and stuff like that. So now maybe it'll help support and create a secondary downtown within 5 minutes of the Babylon downtown.
Yeah.
Another destination place where you can kind of bar hop and move along going east, I guess, right?
Yeah,
or before we were, like we were talking about before we went on air, if you're playing 9 holes at Sumpawams.
Yeah, right.
You want to go.
Well, that's a pretty.
Right there.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
When it gets warm and you're open, this is the first thing we're
Saturday
doing.
for the boys,
Yeah, there you
shoot
go.
a couple quick 9 and then hit up a brewery.
Or
what's better than that?
brewery, growler, golf, come back
Both.
to brewery.
There you go.
There you go.
You
Now
need
we're
something. You need
talking.
some bag beers.
You
Otherwise,
gotta-
it's going to be a rough go.
Do you have a crowler machine?
Yeah.
I will. Yes.
Yes. Well, that makes for good good
Those fit
travels.
right in the golf bag.
That's right.
Shoes, they don't go out there. Crowlers do. That's perfect. So what's the plan? What's the lineup? What are we thinking about for when we get into production and stuff like that? Do you already have a couple recipes in your lineup?
I'll have my test batches where I'm figuring out the ratio because I'm going from 10 gallons to 5 barrels. It's a pretty significant.
And that's going to be the current setup. You're going to do a 5-barrel system?
5-barrel
Okay.
system. Got 4 fermenters, 2 brights.
Nice.
So I'm looking to have at least 8 beers on. At
Nice.
One time.
Oh, okay.
No, that's good.
I'm set up for 10 taps, but 8 would be I'm comfortable.
Take
with.
a guest tap or two, you
Right,
know,
of
and,
course.
and then
Yeah.
fill it out, and it'd be nice. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I grew up in Amityville. Small Craft is
Right.
my considered my original local,
Mhm.
and same thing. They came out with 8 taps right off the bat opening day, and boom, right down the line.
Yeah.
So it's good to open up with that many. And people are like,
Right.
oh wow, you got a lot ready
Yeah.
to go. So you gotta like schedule it out, right?
Yeah.
What
Oh,
would
yeah.
you start with? I think I know the answer, but what
yeah.
would you start? You tell me. What would you start with in order to get ready for opening day?
Well, actually, I'm planning on doing a blonde and a pale ale right off the bat.
Okay.
Just something while I'm
Approachable.
getting acclimated where I got some room for forgiveness there
Okay.
if something's not perfect. And once I get that done, I'm jumping right in with nice double IPA,
Yeah.
double dry hop. Give me all that. I do a pink hibiscus IPA.
Hey, we're drinking
Kind of
that
like what we're drinking right now.
Sort of right now. So I'll tell you the story a little later, but I picked up it's a pale ale brewed with hibiscus flowers from Mickler or McKellar, because we're from Long Island, New York, and we say McKellar, not Mickler. And I kind of got the idea of liking this concept of the beer through the last show's Industrial Arts Two Roads collab where they did a New England IPA with the hibiscus. And so that ended up starting to really, raise my awareness of this type of brew. And so when I saw it there, I had a few at David Wright's final game. It was a crier.
Yeah.
I didn't cry, but it was for many people around us. But I had a few of these hibiscus. And so is it pale ale based for you, or do you use
I do an IPA, little hoppier.
Okay,
I
a
use
variation,
some more floral hops
Yeah.
that really, go well with the hibiscus. And I actually did a special edition of that for my wife's birthday.
Nice.
Oh,
Look at
nice.
that. Brewing for your wife.
That's right.
Chris, don't get any ideas. Terry, don't even think about it.
And it was. I called it birthday month because
Nice. There you go.
her birthday's always
Nice.
a month.
Was it in February?
March actually.
Oh, all right, close. We could have been like, it's a Valentine's Day gift
Right,
too.
Yeah, you can tie it in there. And I actually double dry hopped it, and I added prickly pear, which is the cactus fruit.
Oh, that's sweet.
And that came out super pink and just delicious, just floral.
So you had
fruity.
like the bitterness of the hops, but with the sweetness of the hibiscus
Right.
and the prickly pear.
Yeah, say that 10 times.
Yeah,
fast.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like a good balance. I like a good hopped up but sweet on the thing, so it
Right.
gets you at first and then it sits back there. That's nice. And so that's something you'd probably end up bringing into the brewery.
Yeah, I'd
and
like to
having-
make that one again.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. It sounds like a good one. Once you have the full system and you're like,
Right.
let's see how 5 Barrels does with
Yeah,
this stuff.
exactly.
That seems like a good spring beer too.
Yes,
Like
yeah, it was
flowers are
perfect.
blooming.
Yep, it was perfect.
Good,
yeah.
good color. I like when you see like someone posts a picture of their tasting, and they have like the whole gamut. They
Mm-hmm. Right,
have
the
like
palette.
yes,
you know?
yeah. You have your almost your wit or whatever is nice and light and clear, and then you're going into your little darker IPA, maybe a hazy, maybe a New England, and then you have your variation.
Ambers, your browns.
Right.
Well, I was even because you usually get 4. So I was gonna say sometimes they throw in like the fruity based, like a raspberry or a blueberry, or in this case a hibiscus, and then you got the dark. That's when you would come in with your brown or your porter or your stout, and it looks cool. Like on the
Yeah.
palate, you're like,
Yeah.
I can go right down the line one way or the other, and kind of take it from light to dark or dark to light. Once you go black though, you don't go back. That's what I heard.
That's the
That's what I heard.
prevailing wisdom.
Yeah.
Who do you think originally said that? Who was that? That crazy person. I think it was in Friday. I thought it was the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's what I heard.
Yeah, she blacker than a motherfucker too.
Yeah, you did. You got it. Nice. So you're gonna set up. You're gonna have. You're gonna come out 8 barrels shooting,
Yep.
ready to go. What do we have as a start date? What do you think?
Memorial Day was the original goal.
Really?
Here we are.
So It's by the way, it's October for those of you listening on the replay months from now.
We're looking early November is looking very.
Oh, so you're
good.
close.
Okay. We're close, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a little further away. All right, cool.
We'll be brewing within the next 2 weeks.
So okay, so you're already set up. You got the tanks in and everything.
Everything's
All right, so
functional.
you'll be right there.
Yeah,
And you on the farm license as well too?
No, I did the microbrewery.
Oh,
license,
okay.
Yeah.
And what?
I can't tell whether that's a good call or bad call at this time. I'm thinking in my head, good call. Because of what comes up in 2019.
That was kind of my.
You're not even going to reap too much benefit.
60% for in 2019 or something like that, right?
It's a ridiculous amount, and it's one thing if you've been reaping the rewards for years.
Right.
You're going to balance out what you've kind of gotten back through what you're going to have to deal with. But starting now with a month left of that, that's a tough.
Yeah.
Why?
So what? Other than like the ingredient restrictions, what were the pros for you to go with just the regular microbrew license?
The way they changed the legislation, they're what used to be the perks of the farm brewery license are now with the microbrewery license.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's
multiple occasions serving alcohol and right.
Yeah, so
are you not looking to go that big right now? Obviously,
right.
So. It's
Five
not. You're not going
to.
That's a pipe dream. You know?
To do that, it was going to take years, and by that time, some new legislation is probably going to pass.
Yeah.
Because people are going to lose their minds this next year. I promise you. There's going to be some breweries who are going to go, this is a little much. I mean, we're not meeting the suppliers are not meeting the demands of all the breweries that are opening up. So
in 5 years, maybe, but
right. But even then, you're still kind of in the. You're getting out of your rookie stages, and then you can start looking bigger. And by that time, new legislation will probably end up being in place. And with that said, New Jersey's facing some ridiculous legislation right now.
Saw that.
We were talking to who the fuck were we talking to last week? Ross Brewing and all sorts, and we didn't really scratch the surface too much of that. But we definitely nice one. I could do that too. I think. Nope. There it is.
There we go.
There you go. We didn't really speak to them about it. We kind of just, like I said, kind of breezed by it, and then all of a sudden the next week after the show, it was all over social media about the New Jersey breweries. Sorry, I just had to finish that. Yeah. So, from what I understand and from what I spoke to, and as a brewer, you might feel bad for them.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But they cannot now have events at their breweries. So moving forward, and
Define
I think there's
event.
Yoga, trivia night.
Trivia night is an event.
Trivia night is considered an event. They're not that they cannot have
broad
it.
interpretation.
Yeah, right.
They are limited to the number of events that take place at the brewery. So I think, if I recall, it was 36 or something like that, which is, 3 a month?
Right.
And now most breweries are doing
a trivia night a week.
3 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
between yoga, trivia night, and some other event,
right,
whatever it might be, you're really limiting the events that take place that do draw people to the brewery.
Right.
And I can't imagine that happening here. I think people would
murder
special
people
interest
in the
group
that
well, that's the thing.
Lobbied for this.
And that's that
it wasn't the
conversation.
brewers.
I wonder if anybody from the New Jersey Brewers are listening to it. If you're listening, give me a call, 516-465-3990. I want to discuss it. I didn't predetermine anyone calling tonight from New Jersey, but go ahead.
For instance, in Texas, Tesla cannot sell cars the same way they sell cars in same, Texas, Michigan, and a few other states. They can't sell the same way they sell in, let's say, New York, California, Florida.
What do you mean by the same way?
So they can't actually have a showroom. They can have they can't sell the car there. They can't do test drives.
Okay.
Because the car dealer they don't go through franchise dealerships. They sell direct to consumer.
Right.
All right.
So the Dealers Franchise Association went to
special interest groups.
Had some legislation crafted, did some lobbying to get a law put on the books saying that you have to sell cars through a franchise or something to that effect that made it.
And you just can't go to a dealership, a Tesla dealership, and get your Tesla.
Correct. You could have a Texas boutique, so they could have.
The fuck is that?
Basically, they could have
we have flowers and plates.
They could have a storefront in the mall.
Yeah.
Oh
yes. Okay.
So they have like a storefront in the mall, or strip mall. Or
well,
whatever.
they could have one car.
They could
there,
have a car on display.
Show car, correct.
And someone talking about a Tesla,
and videos,
but they can't
sounds.
sell a car in there.
That's
but I think in like one of the states there was something like you could have like a kiosk set up,
right?
So the customer could like configure the car on their own on the computer and order it, and then have it delivered.
I wonder if Elon Musk even thought about doing like a virtual reality, like not even that, just having a single kiosk in the mall, put the headset and the goggles on, you can just go through a whole.
I mean, would you buy a car without driving
No, absolutely
it? You know what
not.
I mean? That's
which
I think is why
110% not.
Right, especially
but
what those things cost.
Yeah, but if you're rich, these big bucks in Texas, the landowners and things like that, they probably would throw that money there in a second, not even think twice. Like, give me a Tesla. I want a Tesla and a steer and some.
I mean, if
oxen.
you're gonna buy one, why not? Right?
Well, yeah, the steers are necessary.
Sure.
You mean Teslas? That's a little crazy. So anyway, these guys over in Jersey, they're being restricted, and they're coming out in droves on social media. So if anyone is out there listening in Jersey or even New York, go on social media, hit social media. There is a petition being signed. We signed it, went through the process. Even though we're from New York, I think they just need signatures. And to get this overturned, because it's really ridiculous at this point to have this kind of legislation passed where you just can't have a trivia night. They also can't show sporting events, is what I come to understand.
It's got to be bars or
Well, this is what I've come up with. Some I came to.
Maybe
some
it was Buffalo
summation.
Wild Wings.
It was Buffalo Wild Wings.
Or their new corporate
Wings,
overlords,
beer, sports,
Arby's.
and fuck breweries. Yeah, that won't work out. No, this was something I did think about. What is legal in New Jersey is gambling. So if you have people in a brewery drinking and gambling there on their phones as opposed to being at a sports book where they probably want them to be, where everything is regulated by the state, then all the profits and everything else goes towards the state as opposed to these local
Or just
businesses.
the liquor sales.
Anything. I think they all go back to that because it's established within a state-run facility. Like if you go to an OTB or you go to a track and you bet in New Jersey, everything sold there has to be approved, and tax revenue goes directly to the state. And it's not just tax revenue; it's a tremendous amount of the profits go to the state as well. So I'm thinking that was the special interest group. They've gained so much power over the last few months since gambling has been legalized that I think that they're pushing for these breweries to kind of stop their events so all the people will go to these tracks now. It's just a hypothesis, a theory. I'm not quite sure if that's really the truth. If anyone's out there listening and you want to call in 516-465-3990 and tell us a little bit about your thoughts and ideas of what's going on in New Jersey. So anyway, could you imagine having to deal with that?
That's crippling.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you look at all the breweries here on Long Island and 3 a week easily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But regardless of just regular Friday, Saturday night traffic, you have Thursday night trivia or even Sunday night games going on, especially football season.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Everyone's promoting the fact that they got at least one screen.
Yeah.
You go to Dubco, they got the huge screen.
Right.
Small Craft was promoting the fact that they had a couple of games on Sunday. And as far as I know, as being a bartender for years, as long as you have the cable in the place and that's legal, you can show anything you want.
Because you get the commercial license with.
That's correct. Yeah,
Optimum
and same thing. You're right.
Yep. And that's how it
and
works.
you're paying for it up front,
Oh,
so it is you're basically using that as a commercial or promotional tool to get people into the brewery.
Right.
So it makes sense. I just can't imagine it being something here on Long Island. It'd be too much outcry.
Yeah, luckily New York State has been very favorable towards breweries and wineries and distilleries. They want that business, so they're doing everything in their power, from my perspective, to make it easier and easier for everybody.
I think so. I think that's why so many people are opening.
Yeah. Oh,
Makes it a destination.
That's right.
So step me through the legality of getting this brewery open and running. What kind of hurdles did you have to go through along the way?
Luckily, nothing serious with, in legal terms.
By the way, this whole thing was a huge setup to just that question.
Right.
Just so you know. That was a huge 20-minute setup just to
long
talk
walk.
about. So yeah, off a short pier of getting to that question of what you had to go through, because I'm sure it's not easy.
It's just a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Did you have to get a lawyer?
No, I didn't use a lawyer.
No.
It's.
Did you go to?
So it
Did
can't
you
be
do any
that
business in
terrible, right?
school, or did you do anything like that?
A little bit.
Okay.
But not. I wasn't a business major.
Okay.
I was actually a TV radio major.
Hey, yeah, right here to the slackers of the world.
Right. That's right.
Communications,
Communication arts.
Nice.
Actually,
Where'd you go? Where'd you end up going to school?
I went to Suffolk.
Yes.
And I went to NYIT.
Oh, cool. Yeah, NYT is great. And Suffolk has a pretty decent radio program
Right.
out there.
Yeah,
I know I send a lot of my students to Suffolk and Nassau. I went to Nassau.
Okay.
And then over to Hofstra. So very similar path.
Yeah.
And very similar, level schools.
Right.
And the concepts of what they bring. But God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of paperwork. If you do your research, it's all pretty much out there. They don't hold your hand and walk you through it.
Right.
But there's enough information out in the world.
Yeah, you can go online and basically walk yourself through it.
Right.
All right. So
Yes.
the average person could get through it
Yeah.
without any major
Just
hiccups or anything.
some headaches, but
Yeah.
you're fine. if you got your ducks in a row, you're not gonna have any issues.
Right. Now, do you have anybody help? Sorry, there's a bug in here and it's fucking pissing me off. It's not a mosquito; it's a fruit fly, so that's even worse. Did you have anybody along the way that you've teamed up with? Do you have any partners with you in the brewery?
It's family. So it's my dad,
okay,
my brothers, and my wife.
We talk about financial investors,
Yeah.
in a way. So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
everyone
all
had to go.
Yeah. Exactly.
You didn't take your dad's retirement fund, did you?
No,
Good. I feel so bad when people come in and say, "Yeah, my dad put it all on his retirement onto the brewery." I'm like, "Oh, that's a lot of fucking pressure."
He'd
on
help
top
me
of
out. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Good job, Dad.
Yep. Exactly.
Good job. Way to keep it cool.
Fiscally responsible.
Yes, that's great. So it's a family-owned business.
Yes,
we
right.
could say that. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And are we trying to source local ingredients? Or I know you don't have a farm license, but still looking local.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's some great hop farms out on Long Island, even just in the Hudson Valley, just north of the city. So it's it's accessible. It's here. That being said, I'm not only going to get
But
stuff
you're not
from New
locked
York
into
State.
right.
No. Well, now you don't have to. That's the whole point of not having that farm license. So.
And then it just gives me a little more variety, a little more freedom to go outside the box a little bit.
I see a lot of breweries outside of New York going for the Idaho hops. It's a new hot hop.
New. Yeah.
I haven't.
I've not seen that.
Icarus did it in that one I brought in. And I just saw somebody else doing it recently, and I went, "Oh, Idaho hops. That's the new hop." Everyone's looking for that new hybrid strain that gives you a different flavor profile. So what's your go-to? What's your go-to hop? Again, a nice long walk,
right? Yeah,
journey down the path to get to the question.
I really like the cashmere hop, which was kind of.
And where's that from?
That's
originates upstate or?
No, West Coast.
Okay.
Oregon, Washington. I got was that a
It was
a brewery retreat type deal.
You said cashmere? Well, I'm sorry.
Cashmere.
Cashmere. It is cashmere. Okay.
Like the sweater.
Yes. Or like the song.
I got a sample of it, and it was like, oh yeah.
You don't know cashmere?
Let's up.
Yeah, come on. You know cashmere. All right.
Cashmere with a C, not cashmere.
Yes,
okay.
great.
Yeah. So it's very lemony. I actually use it in my hoppy wheat that I make.
Okay.
Tell
me more. Interesting.
So the lemon flavor kind of really plays off the wheat.
Okay. So it has that kind of
crisp, but not it's not overly fruity. It's just really subtle and nice. It's a very easy to use hop.
Right.
It was kind of I wasn't seeing it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden this year, like the hop pick, all the brewers kind of pick their hops right now.
Right.
I'm seeing a lot of guys are buying that up now.
Yeah.
So
it'll become
you're going to start seeing a lot more of that
yeah.
cashmere hop. I like that one a lot.
Okay.
Obviously Citra.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's the workhorse now. But I like I like using everything, and I like blending like 4 different hops into a beer.
Right.
Just to see what happens.
Now, what happened? I mean, I see a lot of brewers, sit in a room. They'll have all the hops laid on the table, slap it, rub it around, smell it. Can you tell a blend by doing that? Like combine this, that, and this. Even some experienced guys, I would imagine, it's hard to say what's going to happen in the entire process when it's all said and done just by that.
I mean, some of these guys have been doing this for 20 years.
That's true too. Yeah.
So they have way more, I guess, vision with that kind of thing.
Well, experience of how two things moved, and then the mother or brother of that can move through that. That's I was at Two Roads years ago, and we accidentally walked into one of those going on. It just hops all over the table, and the guys are doing this. I'm like, this is not where I buy beer.
Right, yeah.
They're like, no, this is a private screening meeting. The tasting room's over there. It was the first time I was there. After that, I knew better.
Yeah.
And they had all these hops out, so it was interesting to see. There's so many varieties out there, but it's almost like a lot of breweries are using
It's almost like wine now, where it's even like farm to farm. Northern Oregon versus Southern Oregon.
Just fighting each other.
Right. You get a different flavor profile from the same hop.
The cashmere is interesting. So it's lemony, and so you could probably put that in. let's see, you could do a nice bright wit or a blonde with it or
Right.
things of that nature. Yeah, that will brighten it up. Awesome. So when you had the family go in on it and everyone's kind of coming together, who was the one that finally said, "This is it. This is what we're doing"? Like,
Pretty much me. It was, you know.
I didn't know maybe if you said your brother was involved too, so
Yeah.
maybe it was like a collaboration. You know, we've had a couple of brothers on the show and from breweries, so it's a lot of times two brothers doing it together.
Yeah, my brother's more like the sales side of it.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
the brewing side of it.
All right.
You know, my dad would be doing the accounting.
Okay.
So it's, you know, kind of everybody doing their own little thing.
And
Everybody's
you don't
got
have
their-
children, do you?
I actually have triplets.
Oh,
wow.
balls.
Yeah.
So drink up. Let's go.
Jeez.
Cheers.
Are they? How old are they?
They'll be 4 in November.
All right, so you're out of the shit right,
Wow.
now. But it's still no. I got two. We both got two in
Okay.
close range, but
Triplets.
but yeah, salute.
Wow. What was that? What was that first sonogram?
Oh, yeah, I'll say one was a surprise, let alone 3.
Oh, I guess our brewery isn't happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Short-term goal is now a very long-term goal. It's not, cheers to you for getting through that and then getting into this. What were you doing prior to the brewery?
I was working retail. I was running a lacrosse store.
Okay.
Right in Babylon, Lacrosse Unlimited.
Oh, you were there.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, they're all
okay.
over the
Okay, cool.
island. So I did that for a while, and
That's where I pick up my son's soccer uniform.
Okay. Oh yeah, they do that.
They
do
print all the
everything. Yeah.
uniforms for Lindhurst Soccer. So
Oh yeah.
we went in there last year. I think it was last year. Yeah, and picked up the uniform. He's had it for 2 years. He's tiny, so they can get through 2 years with that crap.
Easily.
And I passed that a million times. And you're
Yeah.
right there, so you know Babylon
Oh,
Village.
yeah, that's-
you
yeah.
know the heart of it. Yeah.
My 2.5 mile commute turned into a 1 mile commute. So it's
Oh,
great.
wow. Boom. You should just be able to walk home from
Yeah, I
work,
know.
and that is awesome.
Yeah.
Brew, drink, walk home. Triplets are sleeping. I'm on my way home.
That's right.
Jesus. Wow. Well, I give it to you. It's a tough thing to start a business, let alone having that.
Yeah.
And you got a good district for them, so that's good.
Right.
I don't know why I'm getting so personal. Sorry.
It's all good.
It's all about the brewery.
I'm an open book.
There you go. So the family owned and operated. Looking for November 1st opening is that's
Down
tight.
the
That's gonna
wire.
be yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
I'm glad we got you on now and not waited a month, because then you've been probably way too busy to come in. It's definitely. So are you planning on tasting room hours? What are we thinking about?
You know, take it easy to start. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Kind of like, you know, 3 to 8, 3 to 9 on Friday.
Okay.
You know, 12 to 8, 12 to 9. Saturday, 12 to 5, 12 to 6. Sunday.
Right.
And just go from there. You know.
And brewing during the week then?
Brewing during
Just
the week.
keeping up with demand and
Right.
things
And
like
then,
that.
you know, we'll kind of see, because it's hard to predict
Right.
what it's going to be. You know, you expect to get that initial big, like, oh, you're the new shop in town. Let's
Yeah.
go
Sure.
check it out. And then it's sustaining that.
Yes, it is. I would imagine that's extremely hard. Like, oh my God, we did so great. It's first month,
Right.
and all of a sudden, it's February,
Exactly.
and no one wants to go anywhere or do anything. So how do you do that? How do you sustain that? What would be the business model?
You
I mean,
gotta have
events.
Events. I mean, that's why that Jersey thing
Yeah, I know.
sucks.
Especially with all these guys opening.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do the events. You gotta make it special. And that's kind of, we wanted to make our tasting room a destination.
So what's the thought process behind that?
So, I mean, business
By the way,
term.
I've been talking through this,
Yeah,
so
I
we
know,
can just
that's
move this down.
good.
I've been peeking at him
We've been looking
through the
through the
thing.
middle.
I'm like, oh yeah, there you go. Now we can get that out of there. Hey, how you doing,
Right.
Ken?
Speaking,
Sorry,
you know, business terms, you know, you make your most profit selling in-house.
Right, correct.
So, you know, a brewery is a very big investment, so we want to kind of recoup some of that as soon as possible.
Right.
But, you know, after that, I'm looking to, you know, kind of distribute to the local area.
Right.
I don't want to overextend myself, especially on a 5-barrel system. It's kind of hard to, you know.
Well, then you lose in the
Supply
tasting
everyone
room.
and your
Right.
tasting.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as you
Right.
got, you know, those contracts, then they could take away from that tasting room, and you wouldn't be making as much if you just, like you said,
Right.
pace yourself.
I'd
as you
hate to
went.
have to close the tasting room because I'm out of beer.
Yeah, well,
You
That
know,
would be
which
embarrassing.
happens, unfortunately. You
that
know.
would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
The brewery is out of beer.
It's good, but it's not good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So the local contracts, did you speak to anybody, make contacts
Yeah,
already?
you know, I've been talking to a ton of restaurants and bars in the
Yeah.
area.
I think people are very willing, especially in that area, to take on new beer and
I mean,
new
there's a
lists.
lot of great beer bars just
Yes.
in those two towns.
And we
you know.
said the Villager,
You got the Villager,
local.
you got the local, you got
Horse and Sylvia's
Horse and Sylvia's, you got
has
TJ
decent tap,
Finley's,
very
you
decent
got,
tap selection.
you know, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Tallulah's in Bayshore.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah.
You know, great beers all the time.
Yeah.
So
I stopped there on the way out to a wedding, and I went, "Holy, where the hell did they?"
What place? I missed that. I'm sorry. What name?
Tallulah's.
Haven't
You
heard
look
of
it up. It's good. They always have their tap list on the line
Yeah.
too. If you look on their Instagram or whatever, I think we're following them. They don't come up too often in our feed, but they usually take a picture of the tap handle list, and it looks pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
So between that and like you said, Bayshore, Babylon, two big hubs, and you got even a little bit north of you. You got the North Babylon area,
Deer Park, all that.
Deer Park,
Yeah.
a bunch of restaurants up there on DPA, and you're not far.
No, right
you're
there.
planning on distributing yourself as an independent brewery,
as long as
and
I
just
can.
drive it as far. Yeah,
As
that
long
makes
as I
sense.
can,
I mean,
yeah.
you save on everything.
Everything. Literally everything.
And that always surprised me. Like when you look at a brewery and you say, "How did they get the handle at Miller's Ale House?"
Right.
That's a hard contract to get, I would imagine, because there's so many.
And then you got to keep that contract.
Right.
You got to keep the supply.
Did we sell it? Did we not? Yeah.
Because once, you know, if your tap's out, you don't have a keg to replace that.
What do you think the strategy is to keep something on tap? Not just. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I go in. I'll know what Secatogue is, but if I go with my people I work with, we'll walk in, and if I don't say anything to them, I don't think they'll go right to that because they aren't aware of it.
Right.
So do you plan on going into bars and promoting and handing out stuff?
You
and stuff
have
like
to some degree.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just sit back and hope for the best. Maybe
Hope everyone likes it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you do get some from word of mouth.
Right.
But I would imagine it's difficult to sustain that contract in a place that has 30, 40 taps.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Or you even got you have Farmingdale too. It's
right.
not
Farmingdale's
far
right
away.
there. It's
Plenty of beer bars there too.
Oh, plenty of beer bars and plenty of beer breweries. So you got a good competition.
2 and
roughly.
counting.
Yeah. Wait, 3. Brewhouse. Black
Oh,
Forest.
Black Forest.
I always count Black
forget
Forest.
them. Yeah.
By the way, I was there for Oktoberfest, first day of Oktoberfest on Saturday. I invited you, Pete, but Pete had a long week.
Yeah. I was.
Was it? Wait,
still
that
in
was Friday
jury.
night.
I was.
Friday
Yeah.
night.
I just got done that day.
Yeah. They've always been brewing some solid beers, and it was the first night of Oktoberfest, and they just tapped Oktoberfest.
Okay.
I'm an amber guy, but the amber did not intrigue me on the first beer. So, and I always got amber there, but their Oktoberfest was solid.
I'm a big fan of an Oktoberfest. Yeah.
Live music out on the live music out on the porch. You know, big fireplace and everything, and people dressing up in lederhosen and it was good. It was a good time.
Doing that this weekend in Vermont.
Yes, you're going to Oktoberfest.
Yeah, at Mount Snow.
So is there a brewery sponsorship or is it?
No, last year it was so. In years past, you know, you had the actual brewers there. So some local, you know, Von Trapp, Stowe Cider. Who else? Trout River. You know, a bunch of like local ones would usually be there.
Yeah.
Last year it was basically just like employees at Mount Snow with kegs from. They still had some local, you know, local breweries, but I'm like, oh, cool. You know, Allagash is going to be there.
There are going to be breweries there.
Yeah.
That's
no. Kegs from Allagash.
Oh, they're just dragging them in from the distributors.
Kegs from Magic Hat. Kegs from Unibrew.
Okay.
I mean, sadly, you know, AB InBev is one of the sponsors, so you know,
they'll have
at a great beer celebration, you can still get Bud Light, which is just fabulous.
Right. In the snow.
And I always get like excited when I see like Goose Island there, but then it's like it's just Goose Island IPA, which isn't a bad beer, but like you know
you want to try new things.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a green light at City Field. It's their pale, I believe, and it was all right. I had that the other night because it was the only beer.
Goose
I love
Sophie.
And Goose Island has its own bar at City Field. So they had Sophie, they had the 312, they had the IPA.
312 is great.
I
too.
do like the 312.
It's a great
and then they
beer.
have another one that's a rotating one that's not a seasonal or a staple. So, but the line's always ridiculous because
everyone knows who
Goose Island
is. Yeah.
And what's funny is, you know, what kind of glassware would you use for Sophie at a restaurant?
I don't even know what you'd call it, but like sort of like a snifter.
Yeah, and like in a stem glass in a sense, not.
Yes.
So no, they're pouring it right into one
Like
of the tall, the tall boy plastics, and I'm going.
Sold.
I should have done that. I'm like
sold,
and they were charging the same amount. It was like $12 for 312
Sophie
and 13 for Sophie, and I'm like, you're still getting this huge freaking thing of
a
Sophie.
fucking 22 ounce of farmhouse. Sign me up.
Boom, I'm done. I'm in. I was surprised. I was really surprised. The reason why we did go to McKellar is they had $5 specials. Half their menu, half of their 50 taps were $5.
That's
so I
cheap, especially at
dragged
a
my
ball game.
hobbled father to McKellar to spend a few hours pre-gaming because it was $5. I think I spent $20 total while I was there. And, you know, he had one and I
That's
had
like
three.
two
and
beers usually at a
that's what I'm saying.
At a venue like that.
More than it's $13, $14 a beer.
Jesus.
I think I spent $20 and I had 4 beers. So it was definitely worth the pregame there. Packed, but yet they do the right thing. I think that as a brewery, that's the smart thing because if you know when you go in, it's going to be expensive. Yeah. But when you're literally in the stadium but not on the field, you're getting $5 beers.
It's not bad
Why
at all.
wouldn't you go?
Yeah.
We got there, it was not as packed, but it became packed as we went along. So it was really very cool. And the Goose Island is a solid beer. It is a solid beer.
I like 312. I like Sophie. I think I've had maybe Matilda.
Yes, Matilda.
Isn't bad.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to hear from OpenOutCry.
Yes. OpenOutCry.
OpenOutCry. Wow, why can't I speak?
OpenOutCry.
It's been a long one day at
Chicago.
school that I spoke all day, and now I lost all my words. OpenOutCry Brewery from Chicago. They're going to call in a little bit later and talk to us about their brewery. We spoke to them a few weeks ago. They've been listening for a long time and wanted to hear from them because, you know, they're an up-and-coming brewery in the Chicago area, and it actually is kind of poignant. We're now talking about Goose Island and how they're fighting the big dog. It's like you guys trying to fight Blue Point. Yeah.
It's you know, funny. Have you ever actually seen a Goose Island ad? I thought that was interesting. Like the first time I saw like a TV spot from Goose Island.
Very rarely, but yes.
I've seen more ads for Blue Point in social media than actually on TV.
Yeah,
though.
I don't think I've ever seen a Blue Point TV spot.
There is. They're on like the local, like if you're on News 12,
like News 12 or something,
or Verizon One. They've had.
Like, why would they advertise on there? I feel like don't they?
They already have that market.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, News 12 in like Connecticut. That kind of makes sense.
Well, maybe they do get some sort of spread from that because they're the same company. Maybe that's part of the allure of advertising.
See billboards like when you drive through like Southern Connecticut. Like when you get off the ferry, there's like a billboard right there for
Blue Point.
Blue Point, yeah. Which makes a lot of sense.
I know they're getting really big in Florida.
Yes,
that's a big market for them. With Blue Point.
Last time I was in Florida, they were on tap at the bar. I was like, awesome, something familiar.
Exactly.
I'll take a toasted lager.
Yeah. So with that whole spiel, and we're driving down this street, how do you plan on doing some of your advertising? What's the
social media is really where it's at these days. I mean, if you're posting the right picture,
that's right.
If you're posting the right picture, getting the right engagement with it, you know, that's going to go pretty far.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I've seen breweries post a beer, like, all right, I got to try that. That looks awesome.
Yeah. Well, that happens with us, too. I mean, we're getting 50, 60, 80 likes on some silly little picture I posted, and people are like, oh, what is that? Let me take a look at that. That's awesome. We got a phone call coming in. Let's see what we got here. It's the Wort with Mike and Pete. Who do we got on the phone?
Michael, it's me.
Hello, Graz. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How's everything?
I'm great, Michael. I'm coming to visit you.
Are you guys?
Oh, you coming down, Graz?
Hi, Pete. I love you.
What's up, buddy?
I love you.
How's your son doing? Is he feeling better?
My son's messed up. He's got some rib tendons in his fucking pinky, and he's out 6 weeks. My flag football team, I hadn't lost in 2 years. I haven't won in 2 weeks. I got fucking crushed by 30 by the worst team in the league.
His kid needs surgery on his hand. Very upset about the flag football prospects.
He's like, my God damn it.
Dude, are you fucking kidding me? I haven't lost in 2 years. The whole neighborhood hates me. I love it.
The whole neighborhood hates you.
It's the greatest feeling in the world. You feel like you're fucking Vince Lombardi. Dude, here I come. And now, the last 2 weeks, I'm like fucking, what's the guy that lost all the games for the Jets that time?
That one time? All of them.
Mark Sanchez?
Yeah, Mark Sanchez. No, the butt fumble?
Who's the guy who won one of 15 for the Jets?
Oh.
Come on now.
Tebow?
Who? You dicks. Are you already drinking?
Of course.
Duh.
Who says we haven't been drinking?
Do we have a brewer in there?
Yes. Anthony Graz today from Limo Talk podcast here on GubsRadio.com. We have Ken from Secatogue Brewing in West Islip opening up in sometime hopefully early November. He's in the
We're
studio
getting
with
another
us.
brewery. We're getting a brewery in West Islip.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
right.
can we? Okay, listen. Can we make a chocolate stout, please?
I've actually made one.
There you go, Graz.
No, you haven't made one with my smile on it with me and you,
my
Ken.
God.
See, Ken actually listens to the show, so he knew he was getting into as soon as you.
Knew that was coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Ken? I changed it a little bit.
Oh boy. Yes, we're gonna put chocolate nibs on your nipples, bikini bottom, spread you in chocolate, and then you can be on a cam.
Got it.
Ken, I can promise you this, and I'm going to be honest with you. We started this thing 2.5 years ago at my show. It spawned off little fucking baby shows, not as good as Pete the Penis. But, we have 12 shows now, so you guys should focus on advertising with Gubs Radio and social media.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm telling you right
idea.
now, it's a fucking winner.
Nice pitch, buddy. Great job. You sure you
It's a
still want me
home
to do
run.
all your advertising for Limo Talk?
I've already hired you, dummy.
I know.
You've already been hired.
I'm not very good at it, to be honest with you.
You're going to be fine. You're going
I
to do
know.
all my social media, and we're going to blow it up, and then I'm finally going to get a package,
Blow it
and
up.
we're going to go happy earth. What?
All right. Now you said we're gonna blow it up.
Yeah, we'll blow it. Did you bring me beer?
I got some beer here for you.
Oh, feel free to stop on the way, though, Graz.
No.
Yeah, well, what
I
do you
got
want?
you. I
Dude,
got
I'm
you. Don't
driving
worry
from
about it.
Brooklyn
No,
right now.
he's-
I'm not
he's gonna
coming
pick
into
up,
the
like,
last segment.
Coors Light and Michelob Ultra. Don't do that. Don't do that. I got you. I got you
Ken.
to get here.
Ken,
Yeah.
if you listen to this show a lot, Ken, you don't sound like you have a pulse. What's wrong? You don't sound happy.
Jesus. Again, you're really not.
What time are you coming down,
showing the
Graz?
love for our guests.
Right, yeah. Hey.
I don't.
Come on.
Ken, you know I don't show love for anything. Ken.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
know that. Ken, can you smile? Can you?
I'm
Ken,
smiling
you're
right
breathing.
now. I'm
Are you
smiling.
watching on the YouTube
Yeah, I'm-
stream? Because he is. You can see it. He's having a good time.
Dude, I'm driving in Brooklyn right now, past the ghetto, trying to get to a fucking station in Levittown to have a drink.
Well, you don't need a beer, do you?
Oh, you don't understand how bad I need a beer. Holy crap.
We
So
got
what's
one-
going on? What do I miss, O'Toole? I won't talk. You talk.
Well, I would just. We got Ken. He's giving us the lead up to when he's going to
That's
be.
not going. That's not going forward, Ken. Trust me. Keep going.
What? No. I'm going backwards and telling you what we're doing, what we did so far that you missed.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
catching
I'm
you
sorry.
up. And then
No,
we
okay.
talked a little bit about New Jersey politics and what's going on in New Jersey, keeping some of the breweries from flourishing and possibly even delaying their openings. And
Fucking
then,
idiots.
Yep,
Idiots.
pretty much. We talked a lot about nonsense and legality and some fun stuff like that. And we introduced our next sponsor, which is mybomberjackets.com that Pete's playing with right now. And they're
He's our sponsor now?
he's my sponsor. That if
No,
you
wait,
go
wait,
on
wait.
to wait, if you go on to mybomberjackets.com, type in the promo code WART15, you can save 15% on your next purchase.
You should do it
If
before
you
he gets
go on,
sued by
if you
Kraft.
go on
by the Kraft
mybombers.com and put 15%, you can fuck you. I can't even get I can't even get my TV to work in my studio.
The TV works great.
Didn't I fix that for you?
Yeah, we fixed all that.
Ken, when do you open up?
Early November.
Are we all invited?
We'll see.
Depends how the rest of this goes.
It's early in the show. We're all still in the first block.
Well, when you come in, he'll make the we'll kind of make the I don't know, whatever.
I'm sure you get an invite when the chocolate stout gets on tap.
That's right.
I'm trying
Ken,
to write.
if you haven't seen, it is a comedy store. It's supposed to make people laugh. I'm trying my best here.
You're doing great. Just
Oh,
come in and
shit.
it'll get much better. It'll get more looser. More looser.
All right. You want me loose? How much more loose do you want? I'll come in my fucking underwear.
No.
Promise?
That's not what I'm saying. No.
Yes, you are, O'Toole. Tell the truth.
No. I'm good. Come on down. We're gonna talk to you. What, like 9, whatever, later in the 9 o'clock hour?
Yeah. What kind of beer should I get?
Don't worry about it. I got some beer here for you.
I'm coming
Bud
empty-handed.
Heavies.
That's not. O'Toole?
Yes.
Can you become my social director for Limo Talk?
It depends on what else they want me to do for the station. I don't know if I could take on another position, but I definitely will help you out.
Before we go to break, should we talk about the schedule for the show?
I fucking love you, Pete.
Actually, I have it right here if you want to talk about it. I was just writing an email back to Larry about what's going on and coming up in the next few days. So,
Well, the word is now going on Mondays, and aren't you coming back in 2 weeks and then 2 more weeks with brewers that are open? Wait, hold on. With brewers that are open already, they're all too.
No. Well, 27A is opening.
So,
they're not open yet.
I don't think so.
I know. Listen.
We seem to be getting all these startup breweries all too.
Which we like.
Yeah.
That's the point of our show, buddy. We want the stories, and there's a lot of story behind some of these startups because there's a lot to go through, and they're in the midst of it. Most of them are still like working it out and trying to figure it out. That's what's interesting. The guys that are
much as I want to talk to Great South Bay, Great South Bay doesn't need to do our podcast.
About an hour because we had to wait for Steve Square to clear out before we started our show. But we've been on about an hour.
No, I meant the longevity. How long have you've been going? How long has it worked? Since March? Since February?
Since January.
Since January.
Mm-hmm.
Did one of these fucking breweries open yet so we can go visit them?
A lot of them did.
Yeah, almost all of them.
Yeah.
We should be getting great. That show, The Wort with Mike and Pete, is
us.
so powerful. We should be getting invites to all these grand openings.
We have. We've gotten our invites. Like Fire Island hasn't opened yet. The guys in Jersey haven't opened yet. Jones Beach hasn't opened yet. Long Beach hasn't opened yet. But a lot of the other ones are already open and running. So that's why we like to bring them on, because these are guys that we're going to follow throughout the years and see where their progress has led them and get the early stories. And then, it's interesting to the audience to see how everything turned out and how the beer's going. And then they're going to see it in the restaurants. They're going to see it advertised on social media, and they're more inclined to go and take a taste and give it a try.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
I miss you.
Miss you too.
Ken,
you're feeding into it, Ken. Don't fall into the trap.
Since this conversation hasn't really started on a positive note.
Yeah.
First of all, I think you might need mouth to mouth because you're very quiet.
No, you're talking.
Again, do you promise?
All right, listen. All right, listen, buddy. You're going to come in. We're going to have a little more discussion with you later.
I wasn't done with my joke until you stepped on me.
No, that's all right. I'm gonna step and cut you off because we got to take a break, and we got another guest coming up on the phone in a little while.
Oh, please.
And then you're going to come in the studio and be our headliner here.
I'm a headliner now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Let's take the break now. You're in charge. What song are you going to play?
I mean, it is our show.
Prefabs?
No.
What?
No. Listen, why don't you take us to break? Give me the outro. Give me everything. Go.
It's The Wort with Mike and Pete and Ken with the soon-to-have a brewery in West Islip. We can't wait. On GubsRadio.com. You catch us at any time. Now put that other thing on. What's the word? Whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
Gubs Radio. This is The Wort on Gubs Radio.
Okay. Well, that one.
Dum-dum.
No, but that's because it was this. I don't know if it's the same or not. It doesn't really matter. We were talking about the local area over by where Secatogue is going to open up, and there's been apparently lots of accidents involving restaurants right around the area. And by restaurants, I mean bagel stores and breweries and delis and things like that. So there's a guy,
Pudgy's Fried Chicken,
and it led us right to Pudgy's.
I am locked on, laser focused.
Now, is it still called Pudgy's?
It's still Pudgy's.
Now that was a chain.
Did you have that when you were a kid?
Of
right?
course.
Fuck yeah.
Everyone got the bucket of chicken.
Hell yeah.
I feel like chicken tonight, and that was part of that.
That was a different
the
place.
Sauce. No, that was a sauce that was in the store. That was like Prego or some bullshit, some let's say Alfredo sauce that you poured on grilled chicken. But it kind of had its own, I forget what it was. There was some sort of jingle or something of that nature. And so now Pete's really hungry for fried chicken.
Fuck yeah. I might stop at KFC on the way home.
I was
really
just
should.
listening to the New Jersey Beer Guys. I did want to talk about that before we get our phone call. New Jersey Beer Guys are a podcast on the Hopped Up Network that we're all part of one big happy family throughout the national podcast platforms. And New Jersey Beer Guys took over the Hopped Up Network from Mr. Muncie when he kind of lost the ability to really do some upkeep. We had mentioned on our podcast some time ago that it was one of the things that crossed our minds and to see what we could do to help out. And they reached out and spoke to us about potentially being partners or working on the site together. Tonight, they were going to call in, but they actually had another podcast to be on, which had a video element, which we do, which is YouTube. And so he wanted to check out how that works and then also see how that can be applied to the Hopped Up Network, where we could actually post our YouTube streams almost like an RSS feed and get it up there so everyone can not only listen to the podcast but also watch the podcast. And sometimes that really does make a difference when you're looking at can art and looking at the consistency of the beer and the color and stuff like that. So it definitely does help. Ours is kind of positioned up here in the corner, so it's harder to see the detail. One of the hardest things to do and probably the most expensive things to do is buy a really nice camera that would sit here and be a wide-angle camera. But it's like $1,000 or something of that nature. I haven't really seen much out there in the lower range, under $500. That would be worth it to get there. Security cameras are pretty good, but their detail isn't great. Even it says 720, it's HD. It's not. It's kind of grainy and bullshitty. And the lighting has to be right and all that other crap. So I was speaking to him a little bit through email over the past day or 24 hours or so. And just tell them, we had a lot of ideas based upon how our show runs and see if they can kind of adapt that. They like the quality of the sound that we're producing, which is obviously radio station quality. And they like the idea that we have a video element and the way the promotion works and all that stuff. So I said, and when it gets to that point and you want to kind of step it up, we can work something out and we can help you out. They've taken on a big burden in getting all those podcasts up and running. The one thing I have seen is, though, they're doing a lot of live stuff. They're at a lot of the festivals. And we're just going to say right now that we love to be at a live festival. I've kind of tried to position ourselves that we could be at the Nassau Coliseum one upcoming in November, I think
November
it is.
10th.
And so we're going to try to get ourselves there, and we can pull together, and maybe not something live, but definitely live to tape, and then, put it out there like we did our live.
I also just want to go there and get hammered.
Oh, that's going to happen. Oh, that's the whole point is to go and drink, but then, have the access to the brewers, which are literally in the same room as you, and pull them in and do it. So it worked out for us over at Croxley's, where we got people we normally wouldn't get. We got Paul from Brick House, and we got Billy from Sand City, just walking in and sat him down and said, come talk. And so that kind of stuff is really working out. And the Jersey Beer Guys and the South Jersey Beer Scene podcast also does it. So they've teamed up and become like that powerhouse in New Jersey, and we like to represent Long Island as best we can throughout that. So big shout out to the Jersey Beer Guys today in the Hopped Up Network. We will be on that website tomorrow. All of our, let's say our episodes are available through the Hopped Up Network, iTunes, Laughable app, and of course on rotation here at govsradio.com. We're sitting in here with Ken from Secatogue Brewing, and we're getting to the point where we're going to get our phone call. So I just wanted to maybe get a last few words in. So, you gave us the information about the lineup, information about potential opening. Give me your big pitch, and I don't mean like come join a brewery. Give me the social media contacts. Give me all that information so people can go out there and find out more about it. Do you have a website up and running at this point?
Website's there. Just it's a coming soon type deal. But there's I got a little web shop on there. You can buy some merchandise.
Nice.
We'll be getting more soon. I'm on Instagram at Secatogue Brew Co. And I'm on Twitter, but never posted really on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's like that thing that you just you got to throw it up there.
Right.
We just second it on Instagram, and it goes up there. Same thing with Facebook for us.
That way nobody buys the handle and then holds me hostage for
right.
it. And on Facebook, we do a lot of postings as well.
Good, yes, yeah. I think that's something that
again, Facebook is what?
Yeah, we don't, we're not all that Facebook relevant because everything that we do is just posted from Instagram. We're an Instagram-based show, I think. I think that's our primary thing. It's
it's the only thing I know how to use.
Right, I was going to say, it was Pete's virgin social media, and he's taken to it like a dirty whore at a frat party. Sorry, I don't know how that...
I don't know how that's relevant.
No, not at all. I just wanted to say dirty whore at a frat party.
Fair enough.
It got me thinking a little bit. Anyway, so check it out. It's Secatogue Brew Co.
Yep.
And Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that other good stuff. And coming soon in early November... And you said tasting room's probably going to be like Friday through Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yep. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to try to come out with a 8 beer lineup right off the bat, hit them hard. That's great.
A little bit of everything for everybody.
Give me, I know we kind of briefly talked about the recipes. Give me that lineup. What would be your ideal lineup? What would you think you'd want to show everybody? Now, remember, we are in a season.
Right.
So that's the thing is you almost got to change it up based on the season, too.
So my philosophy is I want to have 3 or 4 that are always going to be on tap. Kind of your
cornerstones,
your staples. Get some rotational IPAs in there, some seasonal beers, some one-offs.
Okay.
Something hoppy. Something
is that pretty much the formula?
I think so.
Yeah.
You want something hoppy, something light, something dark, and something different.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite season for beer? Not that there's a bad one.
No. I mean, no.
Beer's good all the time.
It's good all the time. I like the spring into summer because I think it's kind of like you're getting
out of those heavy beers.
The heavy beers are done.
Getting excited for summer.
You're getting
kind of
those
stuff.
like light, bright. The pilsners are starting to come out a little more, and it's the fruit beers are getting more and more now. You're getting like the fruited wits, the sours.
We're drinking a sour right now from Fifth Hammer. This is a sour tart ale. It's called Queens of the Kettle, and I believe it was brewed by an all-women.
Cool.
The Pink Boots,
yeah.
Put this together.
Yeah.
Brewed on International Women's Day by the women of beer in New
cool.
York City using this year's Pink Boots blend, an exclusive hop blend selected by Pink Boots Society.
Cool.
That includes Palisade, Simcoe, Mosaic, Citra, and Laurel. Laurel hops.
Laurel.
That's another one I've heard a little bit about now recently. A portion of the proceeds of the Queens of the Kettle will go to the Pink Boots Society, which helps raise awareness for various foundations and things of that nature. So
good deal.
It is a little old, but it doesn't taste like it's old.
It's very
I
good.
think the sours last.
They hold up.
They hold up well, and that's why I've left them around. So it's an interesting one. It's good. It's definitely different and bright. It's something that as we're going into a cold season that you don't normally see.
Right.
So yeah, you have to look at your lineup and see what that does for the obvious dark beers and how it kind of offsets that. So yes, spring. I also think coming out of a winter and you're like cold and you
I like
want
fall
the
and winter. For
fall, I really
those,
like.
I like those malty sort of beers. I'm not a huge stout fan because I'm not a huge coffee fan. And
Okay.
I feel like that's.
Well, the Oktoberfest is so good.
Oktoberfest style Marzens are.
I would almost drink Oktoberfest all year round.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm sure there's somebody that's got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you got to depend on the weather to brew that beer.
I want to make my blonde year round because a lot of guys don't.
Yeah.
And it's a beer that you can.
The only one I know is Great South Bay.
Right. Yeah.
That's the only one I
Blonde
can
Ambition.
think of right
Blonde
off the bat
Ambition.
that I see all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you could put that together and have that kind of popularity, could be a cornerstone for the entire brewery.
Yeah.
And what were I missed the other ones. I was thinking about the Pink Boots Society for a moment. The stuff that you want to come up on the list. You said you got to have a stout. You got to have.
Something dark, something light, something hoppy, and something different.
Okay. So
what's the something different?
Yeah, I was gonna say
so something you maybe wouldn't see everywhere.
No. What do you? So like, what's the first something different you think you may want to open up with?
I mean, I like my pink hibiscus. I really like.
That is something different.
That's it's been unique to me. It's something that I've had a lot of people try, and that's the one people gravitate to, and that's the one I get asked a lot. Like, when are you making that again? So that's definitely going to be up there.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're kind of
along this, I guess, experimental stage where you've been putting together recipes. What's the craziest thing you put together?
The pink hibiscus one I told you with the prickly pear and the double dry
going
hop.
back that was a variation of the original.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Ah, okay, all right, yeah. That's really cool.
Right. I do my Belgian triple. That
one's
I want.
Minus one. I do two.
So serious when you said it. You're like, yep, that I want.
I do two variations of that one. I do one with grapefruit peel and one without.
So a tartar feel.
A little more tart.
That's cool.
It plays off nice. And that's Midas Well, I call it.
Okay.
And then Midas Well and grapefruit.
Nice.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well grapefruit.
Might as well. So yeah, that's a heck of a lineup, and I wouldn't even say you're being all that ambitious with it. It's like a solid lineup that people would.
I want to be, the craft scene is big on Long Island, but it's kind of new.
Correct.
There's room for improvement.
Right. It's still growing. There's still people who are just getting into craft beer around here, so you kind of want to have that learning curve.
But the amount of growth it's had in the past 2 or 3 years is
crazy,
incredible.
It's crazy.
There's probably double the amount of breweries that I mean.
It's got to be.
I would think so.
It's only there's only going to be more and more and more.
Yep.
The market's going to get more saturated.
What do you think? So that's like, what do you think saturation is for Long Island? Like, how many breweries do you think Long Island can sustain?
So what do they say? 30 now?
No, it's like 50.
50 now?
Oh yeah.
Oh jeez.
The last time someone told us an official count, I think it was like 42.
42.
But then like another 10 in planning
of course.
stages.
It depends because Suffolk and Nassau County is roughly the same population as San Diego County. San Diego has like 170 breweries.
Yeah, it's every town,
right?
If not multiple per town.
I mean, if you go up in like the North Park area of San Diego, there's literally a brewery every 200 feet.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Some breweries have 6 locations just in San Diego.
Jesus.
And they're all doing well.
Yeah.
So, I think Long Island could definitely hold at least 100. I think.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
But if you look at it, like if every little township that has a decent population has their own brewery, you're going to exceed 100.
We're getting there.
That's what it was like,
which is terrific.
Pre-Prohibition, every town had their own brewery for the most part.
Yes.
And, I think it's going somewhat back to that. People want local. People want new. People want to.
I think that the local food scene, I think, is helping that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, people want to identify with something local.
Sure.
Kind of like they want it to be like this is ours kind of thing. And I see that kind of playing out throughout.
Especially
the
in the
I'll be
little
honest, when I see
villages.
Right.
Whatever lithology or Barrage is coming out with, I'm like, all right, I want that. I want to like that more.
Yeah.
Because I live in Farmingdale.
Exactly.
I want those places to be successful.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're in my hometown.
It's part of if you make it part of you, if you make them, if you make the town, if you make the area, feel like they're a real part of your business, of your brewery. I think no matter what you do, you're gonna be okay. If the market, if craft beer kind of takes a downturn, if breweries start closing, God forbid. It doesn't seem to be going that way.
I don't think we're going in that direction.
No, right.
Not anytime soon.
But
you might be a retired old fella when that even comes close to that.
If you got your core, your core customer, your core base, you're going to be okay.
And especially in your area. I mean, that regional thing really makes a big difference. And because Babylon doesn't have a brewery, you're going to pull a lot from that.
You're going to be the closest one.
Right, and there's not much room in, there's not much industrial real estate.
Not over there,
unless the laws change and you could.
You'd have to almost get like a lithology sort of
storefront.
And I mean, that's got to be crazy expensive in Babylon Village.
Babylon Village rent is,
I'm sure,
obscene.
It's crazy. The last time I checked, Babylon's 2 capacity. So at this point, you'd have to take over something else and make sure one would fail before you can kind of hop on board. It would be tough because then you're going to compete with the restaurants that you're selling to as well.
That's right.
I think that's another common thing we talk about. That's why breweries don't stay open late night.
Right.
Because you want people then to travel from your brewery over to the restaurants and make that transition.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a nice little relationship. But like I said, same thing that's going on in New Jersey, too, just making that correlation that every little town and township and village is popping up with their own brewery. And it's starting to become the thing. So in Amityville, we had Small Craft. In Lindenhurst, we're going to get 27A.
There's a meadery in Lindenhurst, too.
The meadery opened, yep. I haven't been there yet. I saw a lot of great things. I had some of their mead when I was at the Ales on the Rails
Nice.
some time ago. So that was great. And the guys that are running that are really nice guys. They were open and very cool. Give them a shot. I think it's Meadworks.
WA Meadworks?
Yeah, WA.
That's it.
That's what it is. WA Meadworks. So check them out. They got a cool little area over there. It's like set back in a
Is there where pistachios used to be or something?
Quiznos or something of that nature, but it's the back of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's where people park to get on the
Yes.
train that don't want
Yep.
to pay to park on the train.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Park near the train. And then they were brewing outside the other day.
That's cool.
It's kind of set back and away from things where you can actually. And same thing, you got the railroad, so you're not far from a Babylon stop.
Train stations right there.
Right, and so you can kind of make a quick Uber ride or even walk if you're ambitious
can
enough.
walk,
It's not
yeah.
that far.
No.
Not
Talking
too bad.
about the village local, they have a cool, they have a canning machine
Right.
in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can get something. You can get something from draft.
Where is
pop
this?
it in a can and then
At the
take it on
Villager?
a train. No, at the local.
Oh, the local has it. Oh, okay,
Yes.
cool. So if you get something in there, you can
And you
sell.
just walk to the train because they're
yeah.
spitting distance
It's
from
the
the
same
train.
parking lot, yeah.
yeah.
I can't imagine
Is
having a
that a great
crowler
idea?
at the Penn Station.
No, it's not a. It's just the I forget what they call that. The
The
is it
single
an
16
October
ounce?
can?
16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it's the
right.
16
It's
one.
the October scene, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought you meant it had like an actual 32 crowler.
No.
Wow,
16
getting on
ounce
the train
can.
for that
Yeah.
bad. The conductor
obviously
comes
the
by to
coolest
take
person.
your ticket. You just got a full Stop
If
and
you get
Shop
on the
brown
train
bag.
with a crowler, you are obviously the coolest person
Yes,
on
you
that train.
are. That's very ambitious, and you should be able to finish that on the way in. If you're a beer drinker, you should be able to finish that.
That was you. So when I used to go to a lot of concerts in the city,
Yeah.
that was the thing from Babylon to Jamaica or usually Penn. How many beers can we cram?
3
in?
beers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's
No,
only 3
that's-
beers.
No, it's like 4 or 5.
Really?
I mean,
It's
if
a
you're only
32
doing
32
if you're only doing,
ounces.
oh no, I meant how many can you do?
Oh, yeah. No, I can. Yeah, of course. do more
4 to
than that.
5.
Yeah.
I mean, if
You
you're not,
get-
if you're only doing 3, you're not trying hard.
Depends
enough.
on the station. So if you're leaving from Babylon, you got an extra
Well,
10
it's the
minutes.
local.
Right. If you're going from Lyndhurst, you're down a beer already in the amount of time from
Yes.
Babylon to Lyndhurst.
Right.
So
This is true.
you got to really step up your game and hope it's not an express train from Seaford into
Yeah.
into Penn. But from there, I mean, you could have a really great time. 4 to 5? Yeah.
I always wanted to do a Long Island Railroad pub crawl because there's so many bars along the Babylon line.
Yeah.
Well, the one Graz is promoting recently is the Third Rail in Belmore.
Bethpage.
No, Belmore. It's
it Belmore?
Nassau County, yeah.
Okay.
The Third Rail. It's taken over by a buddy of his, and they're right
okay.
there on the railroad tracks. And that's
Maybe is it Merrick?
maybe it's Merrick. We'll ask Graz when he comes in a little while.
Good thing I have this computer where I can Google anything.
Yes, Google something, please.
Google knows everything.
And they have a really great tap lineup. And they said that once we get some of our friends through the breweries established, to
Belmore.
Belmore was what was I
I think
saying?
you were right. It was Belmore.
Did I say Belport? I might have said Belport. I do that a lot. Anyway, to get some of the brewery friends to get some of their tap handles as guest tap and stuff like that. So it's a good in for a restaurant. It's a pretty well visited bar right there on the rail. And what can you do? You can go to Wantagh. You can go to Rockville Center. You can hit up some of the major
think, like,
hubs.
one bar per. You have Mulcahy's and there's I haven't
If
been
you
to
start in
Wantagh in a
Massapequa
while.
Park at like McGorry's or the Good
Johnny
Life or
McGorry's,
stuff
Good
like
Life.
that.
I mean, there's a bunch of bars.
Bunch
in
of bars
Park
in there.
now.
Wantagh will probably be your next stop because Massapequa really doesn't let you off anywhere good. Seaford's nowhere near anything great.
There's got to be one. There's one at every fucking stop.
You got Effin Grooven if it reopens anytime soon, over in that's
that was Belmore.
Belmore as well, and then you got the Third Rail right behind there. Merrick, of course. Once you start going further west, there's a number of towns where you literally get off and you can stumble into a bar.
Yeah,
without even
exactly.
trying.
Lindeners used to be like that. I think a few of those have.
Yeah,
dive bars
like
have closed.
Duffy's have closed. The one burned down. Now they got Restoration.
Is it there's something with the dog in its name? Loyal Dog.
Loyal Dog is gone. That's been
Is it?
gone for a while.
Oh wait,
I think
or is that
so.
the place that was on Montauk? I might be getting them confused.
Maybe. There's a new place, the Sideliners, which just opened up. So there's a couple new ones that
Used to be
whatever's
Duke's
closed.
Neutral Corner.
Yeah. Jesus.
Aging myself there.
It's going back. Well, we're starting to lose the people that are not from literally the South Shore of Long Island. Let's take a quick break before we get Open Outcry on. Is the Wort with Mike and Pete, GovsRadio.com. We'll be right back after this.
listening to The Wort on Govs Radio.
Hey, moron, it's pronounced the Wort?
What the hell is a wort?
It's pronounced the Wort.
What is it? The wort? Yeah, okay, I'll do that again. This is The Wort on Govs Radio.
It is the Wort. Not warts, not forts, not short. The Wort.
I'm sorry, I just don't know what that means. When do you guys start drinking?
Who says we haven't been drinking?
Where's mine? If I say it correctly this time, can I have a drink?
We'll think about it.
You're listening to The Wort on Govs Radio.
Yes, this is The Wort with Mike and Pete, GovsRadio.com, streaming live on our YouTube. Give us a call, 516-465-3990. That's the wrong thing. I'm lowering the laptop. Well, I should be lowering the replay because now everything's loaded in the replay.
You're a replay.
Yes, I am. Anyway, 516-465-3990. We come back from break. We have Ken from...
Keep drinking. It'll get easier.
Dude, we haven't even drank all that much just yet. I mean, the three of us haven't even... All right, we got to start drinking. All right. So, Ken from Secatogue Brewing in the house. And on the phone, we have our buddy John from OpenOutCry Brewing. What's going on, John?
Hey, gentlemen. How are you?
Thanks a lot for staying on hold through the break. I appreciate it, buddy.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for reaching out to us and, expressing interest in the show. Thanks a lot for listening to some of our past episodes. And
it's a great show.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We don't work hard to make any of this happen. In fact, it's fueled by a lot of anger and drinking. So, as many bright ideas do, we just got lucky and had a nice little outlet to do this, and lucky enough to have the station and the support of a lot of the people that belong to the station, and they got us up. And, of course, again, another shout-out to the Hopped Up Network for kind of putting us on that national platform where many other breweries are across the nation going on podcasts just like you are. And my first question is, do you have a local podcast? Do you know of someone right there in Chicago that is doing podcasting?
Yeah, there's a handful of podcasts, local podcasts that have started in the last couple of years, and those that focus on the Chicago brewing community. And I do those regularly. Yes.
Nice. And do they have platforms? Do they know about the Hopped Up Network and what it could bring to their national audience?
No, they're leveraging platforms that independent podcasters can use to distribute their stuff. So iTunes and YouTube and Facebook and Stitcher and some of those other platforms.
Well, if you talk to anybody, let them know the Hopped Up Network is completely free to be part of as a podcast. And it's all about like the community of craft beer podcasts extending across the country. As far as I know, I'm not sure if any of them are on there. So that would be a great little northeast type of. I wouldn't even say northeast. What do you consider Chicago? Do you say Midwest?
That's Midwest. Yeah,
Is
Midwest.
It? Yeah, I don't know. I
Central
think
time
you
zone,
guys.
that's
Well,
Midwest.
you guys refer to it as flyover country, but we actually
no, Chicago is not flyover country. That's more like
Idaho. No, that's way out there. What am I? Kansas,
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I'm not saying anything because I don't want to get into it. I'll mention to the folks here that are starting up podcasts that they can leverage that platform. That's great.
Only to the ones that you think are going to be good on the platform. Don't let the cat out of the bag just yet.
All the folks, all these guys that have started them that I'm buddies with, they're all very, very good at it.
Awesome.
So.
That's awesome. That's great. So we have OpenOutCry Brewing. So tell us a little bit about the brewery, where you're located, what's going on.
Yeah, so we're located in the city proper, in the city of Chicago. We're on the south side of the city, in the far southwest corner of the city, in a neighborhood called Beverly Morgan Park.
Okay.
It's not what when the national narrative on the south side of Chicago isn't necessarily accurate or true, but. Okay. We are down on the far south side. It's a great family-oriented neighborhood, a neighborhood that supports its local businesses, us being one of them. And we've been open for about a little over a year, and have experienced some success so far. The community's embraced us. Chicago, in general, has embraced us, and we're really happy with the way things are going.
And so how does the local township or government work over there? Are they regulating heavy, or are they letting you kind of be free and expand? It sounds like you have an answer.
So Chicago is, we're a city of 2.3 million people. Doing business in the city of Chicago has its challenges, like other major metropolitan areas like Philadelphia, New York, probably presumably out on Long Island where you guys are at. But the city has made a very real attempt in the last couple of years to make it easier to grease the wheel, so to speak, for small businesses to open up businesses in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
So while it has its challenges and still a lot more red tape than you would prefer to navigate, and it's still pretty arduous, they have made it easier. They offer a ton of resources for folks that want to open up businesses in the city, and opening up a business like a brewery, which is proven to be an economic driver for neighborhoods and towns and cities across the country. That the city of Chicago realizes that as well.
Yeah.
And local aldermen, we operate in a ward system here. So the city is broken up into 50 different wards. Each ward has its own alderman. Every alderman wants interesting, vibrant businesses like breweries in their neighborhoods. So
right.
Aldermen are very helpful when a brewery wants to open up in the city, but it's still challenging. So I've been listening to your show, and you were talking about the number of breweries that you have on Long Island now, and the number of breweries in a town like San Diego, which I've been to. I've experienced the beer scene out there before. It's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
With 2.3 million people in the city, we still only have around 100 breweries in Chicago. So, there's still.
And you guys,
it's still hard enough where the ease of opening is probably not what most people want.
Yeah.
But
are you guys trying to fight the big boys like the Goose Islands of the world and the Anheisers, which are closer to you than it is to us?
That's obviously a passionate topic for a lot of people.
A whole nother show.
So Goose Island is a brewery that I started going to. It was a gateway brewery for me. So I have some.
Let's say it was your marijuana of breweries.
Goose Island opened up 30 years ago in the city. It was one of the first breweries I started going to when I became drinking age. I still go, even though the tap room, the brewery is owned and operated by InBev. It's a nostalgic thing for me, though. I started drinking there in the late 90s, and still enjoy the space. Been going there for a long time. But in the corner of the city where we're at, I don't worry about that. We try to service the community in the neighborhood that we're in. What this neighborhood wants in terms of the beers that we're putting on draft, and the foods that we pair with those beers. It's based on the feedback of the folks in the neighborhood and the community around here on the south side of Chicago. So, we're not playing in that league with those kind of guys.
Okay.
So I don't really spend a lot of my energy
trying to knock them down or try to dethrone them.
Yeah, worrying about that stuff. Right.
So you speak of the beers. Give us your current tap lineup and what you got on tap.
Well, right now, obviously, like everyone else, we just released our Märzen last week.
Nice.
We sold a gazillion pints of it over the weekend. Chicago, I don't know if you looked at the results of the Great American Beer Festival.
I did. I did see some of the results. I didn't catch the entire list. I got to look it back up. We were going to bring some of that information in here tonight. But Ken from Secatogue, a local brewery opening up, is in, and we had you calling in, so we had enough content to supply the whole show. I didn't have to bring in any articles. But, yeah, I mean, I saw there was a lot of breweries out there in Chicago that were taking some awards home.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy and proud of all our fellow breweries in the Chicagoland area. And Illinois and Chicago showed really well. In fact, in the New England IPA category, Illinois took the gold in the bronze.
Nice.
And New England styles, like and just about everywhere else across the country, have been what consumers have wanted the last year or so. In Chicago, in particular, we've gone through a haze craze like everybody else. Ours is pretty intense. So at any given time, we're doing a bunch of experimental New Englands. We have a few hazies on right now. Our flagship though is a cream ale. It was a beer that I started brewing as a home brewer about 15 years ago because I had a bunch of Jagoff friends. Can we swear on this? We can swear on this podcast.
Fucking
right?
A. Sorry, I took you off, Pete, for a second so you could say it.
Fuck stick.
Yeah, fuck stick is good. Uh-oh. No, I'm turning back down. Hold on. Anthony Grazier just came into the studio, our station manager, i.e. Host of the Limo Talk podcast right here on GovsRadio.com. So he's just going to join the conversation. We're talking to John from OpenOutCry Brewing in the south side of Chicago.
Oh, John, we got to hang out with you. You're the man.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Staying out of trouble, you know what I'm saying?
Attaboy.
So,
Attaboy.
John, sorry, you get back to what you were saying there really quick.
Yeah, I was talking about some our one of our flagships right now, or what we always have on draft, and what we've had since day one, partly because of the feedback we've received from the South Side and the communities in which we operate, which is part of our footprint, is the cream ale.
Okay, the cream ale. That's right. That's where we go. Yeah.
Yeah, the Chicagoland area is close enough to Wisconsin that folks make trips over the Wisconsin border just to buy New Glarus's Spotted Cow.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah, I don't know if you folks out in Long Island have ever.
I don't think it's sold widely here, but you can find it if you're really looking for it. It's one of those ones like that's the beer your dad drank kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's a really nice, approachable, flavorful cream ale, and it's a nice gateway beer or transition beer for folks that are still drinking American light lagers. So about 15 years ago, I started brewing it because a lot of my Jagoff friends really weren't getting into, really weren't feeling craft. So I started brewing that as a home brewer, and it's a beer I've been brewing for a long time. We scaled it up here, and it's one of our best-selling beers here.
John, when did the brewery open?
We opened about 14 months ago.
Oh, so you're relatively new. Okay, that's. I thought it was relatively new. All right.
Yeah, we're relatively new.
We'll go back to the Aldermans really quick, and I just want to make a comment. Every time I heard the word Alderman, does anybody think of something that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, the Alderman brothers.
No, not the Alderman brothers. No, I think a head of state with Chris Rock. He was an alderman that was elected to be the president, and he was running for president. Every time they were saying alderman, it just reminded me of that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was an alderman out of Chicago in the movie.
I never saw the movie.
No, I gotta check that one out.
Hey, John, are you a Cub fan?
I shouldn't be.
You're stuttering. Just say yes or no. Stop stuttering. I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to piss off any of your clientele. Are you a Cubs fan, John?
Yeah, I am.
You're taking it in the pooper tonight, aren't you?
Jesus. Yeah, but that's all right. It's all right.
They're still making playoffs.
Who are you playing tomorrow now? Colorado?
You tell. I have not looked at a TV since earlier this morning.
You know what? We're instinct around here, Michael. Google NFL NHL playoffs.
The Dodgers won, and they beat Colorado, I think, 5-0. I don't think they play tomorrow. I think they play Wednesday.
No, there's two games.
I'm sorry, you're right.
There's
There's 2
tomorrow.
games tomorrow, and then
whoever
Wednesday.
plays today plays tomorrow.
That's correct. And then the Yankees play Wednesday. That's what I was getting mixed up with.
On Long Island, you guys are typically what, Mets or Yankee fans?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Great. How are you?
What kind of fan are you, Ken?
I'm a Yankee fan.
You're a Yankee fan? Get out, you fucking penis. Most of this. See, listen. The station is basically Met fans. We got a couple of douchey Yankee fans, but we wallow in self-pity because, dude, you remember one thing? We were 12-1. And then at one point we were 26 games under 500. So you were sitting there going, "Holy fuck, we suck."
Yeah, it was a terrible. And you know what? The only susses we have is the fact that we did beat the Cubs a few years ago in the playoffs, moving up.
Our best night this year was David Wright taking 2 at bats, swinging and hitting the ball. They were fucking fascinated by the fact he hit the ball. He hit it. Ooh.
Sorry.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Good luck. I hope you have a problem tomorrow night.
No, I think the Cubs are going to pull that out. The Colorado Rockies look absolutely awful right now.
Colorado is
they look awful. They didn't score a run.
I'm betting it tomorrow night. Shut up.
You're betting it?
John,
put it on a parlay?
John, I'm going to put it on a parlay. I think I'm putting it in a teaser. I'm going to get a couple of runs.
That's all right.
So what do you have on tap right now, John?
Shut up.
Fucking sports show.
So we have to see.
Pete gets pissed. Fuck off, Pete.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
If you want. So right now we have our cream ale on. We have we are, like I said, we've been following that hazy IPA trend like everybody else. So we have 2 different hazies on right now. both the same grain, base grain bill, but slightly different hops and different and the timing's a little different on the hop additions.
Okay.
One is called Open Interest, one is called Lewis Winthrop. Those are some of our fan favorites.
And both come in at a similar ABV, I would imagine?
One's at 6.8, one's at Open Interest is at 6.8. Lewis Winthrop's a little over 7.1, I believe.
Yeah.
I have a naive question. Is it the darker it gets, is the alcohol volume supposed to be higher?
It's
I'm
not
actually
necessarily
asking,
dark. This is, by the way, John, Graz
is
isn't a craft beer guy. He's a sports guy. So that's why he came in heavy hitting with the sports.
I'm not a sports guy. I run a stupid ass radio show.
You do
that we
like
talk about
sports.
tits and ass.
All right, so he
now you
does,
have my attention.
The good thing about Graz is we can help educate him in finding out some of the the subtleties of the brewing process. So just to reiterate his question as he just spewed it out, does it depend on the darkness of the beer for the ABV, or is it just a matter of what you're using in regards to ingredients?
No, it all comes down to your grain bill, right? So alcohol is driven by how much sugar is available for the yeast to metabolize, right? So
right.
Depending on how many sugars you extract or pull out of the mashing process and how much sugar is available for the yeast to consume, metabolize, and produce alcohol, ultimately drives what the alcohol by volume is of that beer, right? So, if you're bringing more grain to that grain bill, and you mash certain ways, you're putting more sugar in the liquid for the yeast to consume.
Right. So I think his next question would then become: so why the different colors? Why the different tastes? Why do we go that route as opposed to just producing everything with either a hazy feel or a clear or something of that nature?
Yeah, that's exactly the way I was going to put it. Totally that way. Yes, absolutely.
Well, color's a derivative of the grain bill as well, or in the grains or adjuncts that you add to the mash tun. So, if you're using highly roasted malts, right, that are kiln for longer periods of time, and those grains are ultimately become darker, right? That color is then going to impact the ultimate color of the beer, right? So roastier malts will translate into darker beers or other adjuncts that you might add in the mash tun.
What would be your perfect beer, John? What would be like the perfect, alcohol volume and just style that you would go with?
Well, that's a fluid question, right? I mean,
they're actually they're all clapping. It's probably the best beer question I've had in the last 8 months. Ken's startled here. He doesn't know what to say. He's like, holy shit, the guy knows what he's talking about. Listen, Ken, I'm gonna make you laugh. Just deal with it, all right? Fuck the beer, all right? I'm the laugh guy. I'm the reason why there's 30 people on watching on scene. They want to see me. It's my station. My station.
Anyway, go ahead. So answer.
John. So now being in this business and brewing every day, being around beer every day, having to drink every day. Not that I'm complaining about it. I lately, and also starting a small business, and you're not getting very much sleep, and you're tired all the time. I cannot sit there and pound high ABV beers anymore. So I'm finding myself gravitating towards lower ABV beers, and I think you're going to start to see a trend in the circle back to delicate lagers, delicate European-centric lagers, just because I think that's where this pendulum is going to swing. We've gone crazy with adjuncts the last decade. We've gone crazy with imperial stouts. We've gone crazy with the hazy IPAs, and those are always going to be on tap towers. But I think you probably will start to see more technically competent lagers and golden ales.
Ken hasn't stopped nodding his head the whole time.
I couldn't agree anymore.
Ken's just nodding the whole time, going, yep.
Exactly.
All right, listen, in San Diego, they have like 200 breweries in that small area. And now, because if you listen to the Wort with Mike and Pete, you know that there's 42, maybe 52 breweries on Long Island, Suffolk. What about you guys in Chicago? What do you have in your square area? Second question is, how far are you from Wrigley?
On the far side, so Wrigley's on the north side.
Or Comiskey.
Let's do that question first. So Wrigley's on the north side, right? Yep. I'm probably, I think, I don't know, 17, 18 miles away. Probably a 45-minute subway ride
Okay. So you're more towards what is it, Comiskey? What do they call now? U.S. Cellular.
We're a few neighborhoods south of where Comiskey's at. It's not called Comiskey anymore, but if you live on the south side of Chicago, it doesn't matter which bank has their name on it. You still call it
yeah, right.
Whoever purchased it for the right amount of money.
They've all defaulted anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm probably I don't know 5 to 10 miles away from Comiskey.
Oh, that's close. Yeah, you can.
And I'll go to a handful of games at both all each year.
A lot of breweries by you guys. Like I said,
on the south side, we're a little bit behind the curve. There's a handful that have opened up on the south side and some of the suburbs that ring the city on the south side, but we don't have the concentration of breweries that you do on the north side of the city, where there's a lot more and that are closer to each other. But the population is more dense on the north side. If you were to do that ratio of breweries to population, north side to south side, I would imagine they might come out pretty close to each other.
I still think you guys are going to get your asses kicked in tomorrow night.
He's still talking about fucking baseball.
John, I noticed I'm on your website here, and I noticed you guys have a kitchen there, which is something I said that a lot of the breweries out here are lacking.
Are they allowed, Pete?
I would.
Well,
imagine.
ask Ken. Are they allowed
Ken,
to have?
are you allowed?
Then you're inviting the health department in.
But then wouldn't you want them to be like a one-stop shop where they come to eat and instead of? I heard your philosophy. You want them to. Do you want them to come to the brewery maybe in the beginning or afterwards after they go to dinner?
Right.
But why wouldn't you want to circumvent everything into that one spot where they don't ever leave and they make it in? It becomes a destination spot for you
You
guys.
can do that. My thought process on it was.
And I'm not saying I have no idea.
You're running a restaurant on top of running a brewery.
It's hard, man.
You know,
I mean, that's the answer. It's just fucking hard.
John, don't be snipping at me. I'm being naive here.
I actually,
not snipping at you.
I did have a follow-up question about the food.
Yeah.
So, a very important question. So, I noticed you guys have pizza there. Are we talking Chicago style or are we talking thin crust?
No, we're a little bit of an outlier with the pizza. We purposely, well, two things. One, we cook everything on wood. We bought these really nice wood-fired pizza ovens from Mugatti. It's a wood-fired pizza oven manufacturer out of California. We had this big giant oven shipped across the country on railroad cars, and then these semis that pulled up in front to drop the thing off. They're gorgeous.
That's a lot of effort, though.
Do you deliver?
We will. Yeah. Well, we don't have a formal delivery service, but we do have customers that will ask if we're willing to get in the car and bring some pizzas over to them, and we do it. Yeah.
John, I think he means to us.
Yeah,
now.
I meant to us. I meant to
not to Long Island, though.
No.
Come on, John. Get state of the art. Get a boober or whatever the hell it is.
Boober?
Well, I can't call it. I don't want to call it the other. We don't call it the other
that's right.
name.
We don't talk about the other
This
thing.
station does not mention that car app.
Incorrect. It was just mentioned in the previous show, just so you know.
I know.
You have something to talk about.
I took them all last week when I had to go to
Go fuck yourself, Pete. Your show sucks.
Your original question. I mean, running brew pubs, brewing beer well and consistently well is hard enough. I mean, it's not. It's a challenge. But then when you throw the complexity of a restaurant on top of it, you almost have to be out of your mind to take something like that on. I luckily partnered up with a really good friend of mine who was a really talented chef. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to touch the restaurant piece. I just let him do his thing. He does it well.
Let him run it.
It's got to be good for the taproom business, though, right? That's a draw in and of itself, too, I would imagine, right?
Well, I think as you have more and more breweries opening up, and it's getting harder and harder to fight for shelf space in the grocery stores and the liquor stores, and you're not large enough to take advantage of economies of scale, right? I think that the middle always gets squeezed, but brew pubs, I think, are a little bit more insulated from what may or may not be some sort of shakeout. I'm not saying that there's going to be a shakeout. You were talking about a brewery in every neighborhood back before Prohibition, and I believe that we're going to see that again, and I think what we're seeing is here to stay. But at some point, you will reach a saturation point. You might see folks get shaken out, but
yeah. I mean, it's with any sort of business that if there's too much of it, there's not enough customer base to do it. I think the first step is trying to get everyone on board with the craft beer scene, trying to get everyone to kind of convert over to a drinkable beer, whether it be a Pilsner or a cream ale, and that way you can, like I always say, you bring them in with the foundation beer, and then you hook them in with the other stuff, during a tasting or something of that nature.
Hey,
I think that I am less worried about brewery saturation, especially in 2018, because everyone's making great beer. It's not like the late 90s when you had a shakeout in the late 90s. There was a lot of people that got into it just for the money, and there was a lot of bad beer out there, and I think that is what resulted in that bubble bursting 20 years ago. The difference now is that the beer, everyone is making really great beer. I am less worried about brewery saturation. I'm more worried about things like what would erode away the overall market share of beer and alcohol in general. So that's the legalization of recreational use of marijuana. That's things like
nice. We're gonna have like a little separate room.
No, well, that's the thing.
No,
is that
he's
as
worried
states,
people are going to be spending money on pot instead of spending money on
Right.
beer.
Well, it's going to shift. It's going to shift consumer dollars from
Correct,
things
sure.
like alcohol to recreational marijuana. Also, you're competing with technology, right? It's people are Netflix and chill's a real thing, right? It's not. It's a little bit easier not to leave your house these days, right?
Yes, agreed.
So then why wouldn't naive question number 2? Why wouldn't you deliver, or can you deliver, or do you have the capability?
There is some precedent for that here in New York. Like, for instance, Mickler is doing a delivery program that if you're within the certain mile range, they'll deliver up to 2 cases to your house.
Well, we do Uber Eats. So Uber Eats is Uber's food delivery,
which I heard is doing very well in other cities, not in New York. I'm in the cost.
But can you then attach
we're gonna
grill or beer to that?
for delivery that it's probably a service that we'll probably start legging into, but we haven't done it yet. We've been using Uber Eats. The problem with Uber Eats is, so there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I got a restaurant here in Long Island. We'll put a keg on, right? Tell me when you're shipping it, and I'll get a keg on there for a week.
There you go.
What are you laughing about? I'm being serious. Ken, you're in the too. Don't worry. You don't have to talk, Ken.
Yeah,
I got you. Ken, I got you.
Ken, I got you back.
I got you back. Right, when you start up in November, we'll get a nice the third rail.
I mentioned the third rail.
I heard.
All
The
right,
third rail
good,
in
thank you.
Belmore.
Yeah,
I went there the other night. Place is great. We're gonna have a blast.
What kind of restaurant is it? What do you run?
It's he had it's more
American.
like a American type of fare, but it was good. Like I had the steak with the wedge, and the wedge was fresh, and the steak was tender. And my wife turned to me and goes, "I want to come back." And there was a guy singing in the corner, and the beer was cold, and he had like 25 taps, and he turns to me and goes, "Aren't you doing a beer show?" I go, "Wait, I'm just a guest." I go, "Wait, I'm just a guest on the beer show. I created it, but I'm just a guest." You know what I'm saying? So he says to me, "So why? I'll get a couple of taps on there." And to be honest with you, he's met so many nice guys in this industry that as a way, I want to get him, my friend, who's a very good friend in the bar business now, to put the guys' taps on there at least for either a night or to promote it, to get it out there as a thank you for these guys coming on to us. Everybody's happy. Maybe it'll keep me on the air for a couple of those, another 6 months or something. But we'll all be good, you know what I mean?
But it's true. Our community here in Long Island is pretty tight-knit with the brewers. So how about you guys over in Chicago? How's the competition / camaraderie between you guys up there?
It's the same, man. I mean, that's one of the great things about this industry. I hope that as more players join the space, that culture doesn't change. But we all talk. We all help each other out. We all can call each other if we're running into a technical issue in the brewery, from a mechanical thing. You need parts, you need hops, you need something. You run out of something.
So it's like New York. They're the same way here. Yeah. You got to hear these guys. They get on the air here, and they all mention Dan from Fire Island. That's the god. We like that guy.
Yeah.
You got to come visit him. He's a fucking genius.
But they have a private Facebook group page, and they all kind of contribute to that. If someone needs this, someone needs that, they all kind of help each other out. So
it's called Dan the Man. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's not just him. It's everybody.
No,
I
know, but
he
got, in my eyes, he walked in here and opened up the doors for you in other outlets.
Absolutely, yeah, and he introduced us to a lot
everybody.
of people.
And it all circumvented from there.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Total. I don't mean to.
Let me give you an example of how congenial the brewing community is in Chicago. So there is another brewery in our neighborhood, and it was a place that I was a customer of for a long time, so I knew everybody there and was friends with everybody there. Especially, I was a home brewer, so I was, part of the home brew community and all that. But when I first started thinking about whether or not I was going to quit my job and do this, and wanted to do it in the neighborhood that I live in, I said to the gentleman, this brewery, I think they just had their 5-year anniversary. It's called Horse Thief Hollow. The gentleman that owns it, his name is Neil. They're a couple blocks away from us. So I said, look, Neil.
Does he deliver?
You know, well, I'm sorry.
Does he deliver to New York? You got one of you guys got to deliver to us. I want a Chicago company to come in with
Listen,
Ken.
they're in the frozen section of Stop and Shop. You can find Chicago pizza.
I don't want
Yeah,
this.
the
I
homemade
want John. What's the
homemade
hold on,
pizzas you can get in Long
John? We
Island.
weren't really. We were introduced slightly. What's the name of your place? Hello.
Yeah, no, it's OpenOutCry Brewing.
OpenOutCry Brewing.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, Anthony came in late to the intro.
Now,
so
do you have kegs?
Do we have kegs?
For sale.
For sale, yes. Kegs for sale.
So in the state of Illinois, when you operate as a brew pub, you can't distribute as well. So
that's
all our sales
comes
have
full
to be on
circle
premise.
now.
That was a shitty question that got a good answer.
Look at fucking fat boy. I'm
Yeah,
coming
you had
through
no-
tonight.
He's smiling like I just hit gold here. Interesting. So
You're
tell us
limited-
about
your sales are limited basically to your tap room. Is that it?
That's correct.
Wow,
Yep.
my.
I think New York's the same for brew pubs.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I don't
just
think
because
I don't think that's different for most states.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right
this
because if
is
you think about it,
like Brick House doesn't
Brick
distribute.
House.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
Black
a fucking
Forest,
brilliant. That
Lobby
was a
is-
brilliant
that
was a
question.
great question,
That was a
Graz.
brilliant question, John. You know.
It was.
He's
We're
looking
getting
for a
down-
pat on the back.
We're getting down to the facts. So I think the distributor lobbies in most states are pretty strong, and
Yeah.
For brew pubs to distribute, you're talking about, an erosion away of the 3-tier system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you're, with the power that distributors yield, at least in the state of Illinois and most other states, I don't think you're going to see anytime soon brew pubs that can do on-site sales be allowed to distribute. That may change. I don't know, but
No, it's pretty consistent with the same things here in New York. I didn't even make that connection as we were talking about it, considering that you're more of a brew pub than an actual, microbrewery.
Correct. That's
When
correct.
are you coming
We
to New
run a
York?
small scale. I'm sorry?
When are you coming to New York?
I'm in New York, not I wouldn't say infrequently. I'm out there every once in a while.
So when you come here, you come hang out with us. And you
I will.
come out
I'll
to
be-
work,
You
and you want to
definitely-
come on a better
I-
show. My show's Thursday night. My show's Thursday night from
Fucking
8 to
poaching
10.
our
It's
guests now.
You just come. You come on my show. Listen, I'm trying to get up on the Hopped Up Network. You know what I mean?
Limo Talk about them
I
there.
figure limo talk on the Hopped Up Network. If I say I'm a transportation limo show that has beer in there, I now become a beer show, right?
I can take that. I could take the train out to Long Island, right? It leaves like Penn Station or somewhere. And I can-
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'll pick you up in a boober, and I'll pick you up on one of my town cars. I'll bring you
Okay.
in. I'm spitting. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't feel it. No, but seriously, I mean, if you do come out this way, you got to get in contact with us.
I will.
We were talking
I-
about before because
I'm-
I want to run down with all the beers in front of us and have you on because, as much as it's nice to have you on, it's also awesome to have the beer in front of us and talk to us about the, how what's being made and how it's going through the process and stuff like that. In addition to hearing about the brewery.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Love
that's
to.
awesome.
Yeah, and listen, and then Thursday night you come on a better show. I'll get your car in and out. No, I'm kidding. I'll get you a car for these guys too.
Just it.
Listen, this is my most popular show on the station. I like coming on here more than doing my own show. John.
That is true because I do feed him beer the entire time.
John, I swear to God, I love this place. It's the best show in the world.
John, where did you get the names for some of the beers? I saw, was it Credit Default Swap? Was it Open Market? Where?
Are these Chicago-based themes or?
Well, so before I decided to quit my job and give up a previous career and start a brewery, I was in the futures industry for about 20 years. Future. So most people know it
Like pork
based
bellies?
from the
Like
movie
pork
Trading
be- pork
Places
bellies?
with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
right?
Pork
Fucking
Bellies.
great
That's what I'm saying. It's the
movie.
best movie. That's how I learned about futures.
Orange juice concentrate.
In Philadelphia, a Rolex is $50.
Jesus Christ. It's a fucking great
Well,
movie.
so OpenOutCry is what describes that market trading style where you got everyone in the pits and yelling
I
and
got
screaming
it.
in the hand signals, right?
Yeah, all right, I got it now.
That's called an OpenOutCry market.
Yeah.
I came from that industry. I did it for 20 years. I loved what I did, but I was done. Although I loved what I did, I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. So it was a part of me. That name kind of tells my story. That's how we've branded this business, and the names of the beers fall in line with that.
Yeah. What was the other name that you had? What was the second one you said? I heard the first one.
Credit Default Swap, and I think Open Market, right? That was
Open
one
Market,
of your
yeah, that makes
New
sense.
England styles. And Grain Elevator.
Exactly.
There's another one.
You got stickers now?
You want stickers? I don't
You
now.
got
I had
these-
them from the first
John,
day we started.
John, this guy used to be the producer on my show, so I got him started like 9 months ago. I can't even get a TV in my studio to at least get like everybody to see video, but this guy's got stickers, he's got shirts, he's got business cards. I'm like a loser, John. Can I come?
We're semi-professional.
You are very professional. You're so professional. Who's that? Is that your wife? Your wife's the professional one. She knows what she's doing.
You know,
did that?
I did. I ran it by her, but I designed that.
Bullshit. She designed
No,
that. It's
she
all
didn't.
her. She's the smart
All right,
one.
you know what? Because she's probably still listening. She designed it, sure.
She's definitely listening.
She'd be the first
She
one to
knows
call and
I'm
say she
coming
did.
on. She's listening. Trust me.
Yeah, she definitely
You guys
did.
are a bore.
Jesus Christ. So, John, so you said you're in one of the wards there. So what are the closest other breweries to you that you guys are, I don't want to say in competition with, but like in the same neighborhood, in the same vicinity?
The bigger breweries, the names that you might be familiar with, we got Lagunitas just opened up a gigantic Midwest brewery about 3 or 4 years ago. So Lagunitas has got a
huge
whole footprint here now.
It's everywhere.
Goose Island,
Yeah.
everyone knows Goose Island. They were one of the first breweries not only in Chicago but in the country that kind of started this whole thing about 25, 30 years ago. On the south side of Chicago, in our general neighborhood, you have Horse Thief Hollow. They're up the road from us. They're friends of ours. They make great beer. We do collaborations with them.
What's the name?
Down
Rusty Harlow?
Horse Thief Hollow.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yep. Down the street the other way is Blue Island Beer Company. Again, buddies of ours. We do joint events with them every once in a while. See them at beer fest and things like that. They come in here, drink. We go down there and drink. We actually have we usually have a handle on our draft tower reserved for them.
Nice.
At all times.
And you doing collaborations with them as well?
We haven't done a collaboration with them, but it's something we've talked about doing.
Yeah.
Just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Do you have a pumpkin ale?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a pumpkin seasonal ale?
We have not done one. I don't. It's going to be hard to convince me to do one just because I never really was myself.
I could hear the disdain in your voice.
Did I ask? I had a really great question followed up by a really shitty question, huh?
My whole life, cinnamon's been a tough flavor for me my entire life.
Oh,
so
dude, put on a little fucking rice pudding. It's a winner. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's rice pudding.
I eat rice pudding. What do you?
I
don't eat rice
actually
pudding?
do like rice pudding.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I don't know if I like the
Ken,
cinnamon on
back me up
top,
here.
but when it's a
Ken,
dessert
Ken,
option,
just nod. Don't say a word. don't say a word. Ken.
Ken's
Just
nodding
nod.
on the YouTube stream.
That's right.
Yes, rice pudding is delicious. Anyone ever try to brew a rice pudding beer?
Oh, look at that.
Have that like malt forward taste with a little cinnamon in there?
I don't know about rice pudding, but rice is an ingredient they use in the East to make beer. Like
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
a Sapporo.
Would you make a
Sapporo
chocolate
is
stout?
rice.
Would you make
Budweiser?
Would you make a chocolate stout? Wow, I'm just asking. I can ask.
Oh,
Can
we
I?
can ask.
Nobody
Yeah,
wants to
we've
fucking
done-
make me
we've
one.
done chocolate
Ken.
stouts.
What, you
we've
will?
Done chocolate stouts. We've done coffee stouts. We've done. We have a Russian Imperial Stout that
Cherry
base
and
grain
almonds.
bill that we use, and we had different adjuncts. We've done Hershey's bars. We've done Snicker bars. We've done cherry and walnut.
Oh my God! What's the cherry?
We're willing to take risks and try different things.
Ken, are you making me any of these? You gonna make me like a walnut chocolate or something like that? Can you do that?
Sure.
You can?
Yeah, why not?
Fucking Ken. Ken.
Why not?
Ken. Ken, after this show, here's a couple things.
Why
that's
not?
gonna-
I'm never gonna
here's
see
a
you
couple,
again.
That's not true. See, wait a minute. I am going to go to his grand opening, or I'm going to show my face. I'm not like you. You say, oh, you're too fucking snooty.
We'll be there. Every
Oh,
single
yeah,
one of
you
them.
haven't been to one. Nobody's inviting us to shit.
No one's open yet.
Well, they better start open. That's what my whole
As
point
soon as they
from
do, we're going to have
before.
nothing better to do than to go to brewery
Dude,
opening.
it's going to be great. Fucking Dan, 1 week. Ken will nod the whole time. The second week, John's going to invite us to fucking Chicago. Now, listen, Ken, seriously, here's what we're going to do. I want to chalk. I want. How many beers are we going to have at a grand opening online? John, hang in there. We love you.
I'm looking for 8.
I'm here.
You look 8?
I'm here.
8, yeah.
Johnny, you want to jump in with a question about Ken's place that's opening in East Islip?
West Islip.
West Islip in November called Secatogue.
That's right.
I got it right?
Hey,
Look
look at you.
God, listen, I should do my own. Hopped Up Network. Hey, Jersey guys. It's called Grazzy guys. Don't worry. Let me come on to the Hopped Up Network. It's limos, beer. We're all set. So now my question to you is, how many people can you hold that opening night?
We're still waiting on the final with the fire
What do you
marshal.
think? For rough,
80 to 100.
All right, I'll bring 20.
That's a big tap room.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
We'll bring 20.
Tell your family don't bring anybody else because Graz is going to bring.
My bang bus will bring 20.
1/4 of the people.
And they'll bring nice people. I have a bang bus, John. It's a 20 passenger wine tour bus that have been nicknamed the Bang Bus.
It's true
because of incidences in the past. Sorry, I can't discuss them.
Tarps and black lights.
Yes,
will tell you that.
And fat women that get guys with one leg's head caught in the door.
Let's
that's
move
for
on
another
that.
time.
I don't want to know.
Why you don't like the wine tour and or the sports talk, right?
Yeah. No, wine tour is fine.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's some guy on a one-legged fucking.
Dude, John, I had a fat John in one of the wine tours. The heaviest girl out of 19 girls ends up bringing one guy. The guy's got one leg. She gets so intoxicated that I'm driving the bus. She wobbles on top of me. My knee pushes the switch, and I got the one-legged guy's head caught in a door.
That's an easy story to tell everybody.
The true story. Yeah. So as she gets off me, I turn and he goes, my head. I go, oh, I'm sorry. And he fucking hops on. He goes, are you all right? I go, yeah, she might have broke a bone, but it's okay.
We'll get through this one.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. That was my story.
Thanks, Grass.
Yeah. Back to the Wort with Dull and Duller.
I don't have any stories, John, of one-legged men shutting their heads in windows, but tell us a little bit more about the brewery.
Is this the Long Island thing or
no, it's a Graz thing.
Yeah. No, listen, I have wine tours, and these girls go out and they drink wine. So because of this show now, I'm trying to turn it around because it's always women on these wine tours and the men don't really want to go. So now I've never been in the beer business, and I have this bus that I want to use, and these guys are recommending these different beer places, these breweries, on Long Island that I want to go to because of this show.
Yeah, and so that'll diversify.
Are there wineries on Long Island?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in the Hamptons.
So you can grow grapes? People grow grapes on Long Island?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and hops if you want to come out.
There are more wineries than
I'll
there
get you
are
a deal,
breweries.
John.
Yeah.
What was that?
There are more wineries than there are breweries.
Yeah,
They're
there
all
are.
concentrated.
You're kidding me.
John, you need a deal? I'll get you some hops.
Hey, you know a guy?
I know a guy, John.
I got a guy.
He's got hops.
He's got wine and hops. What do you need?
Well, hops.
Hops and wine barrels.
We're a brewery.
That's a good point.
We do as a brew pub though. We do have a full liquor bar. We do have a nice wine selection here too.
Do you make good drinks? Do you make any of your drinks every once in a while?
Yeah, we have a nice cocktail menu. We have some folks that work here that have been doing cocktail design for a long time.
We should go to the Met game, O'Toole, and go visit this gentleman. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you should.
We should go to Chicago.
Chicago's a fun
time.
time.
Oh, you mean Chicago?
Yeah,
Go like
to
with
Chicago.
them? Oh,
Yeah.
I got you.
I think we should go to Chicago, see the Cubs for a game.
Hell yeah.
I would love to do that. I did it last time. I went last time. It was football weather. It was 22 degrees. That's the time when fucking Dickie fell on his ass, and he was out the whole year. So I want to do it.
A lot? You come out here?
I know. I've been there once, and I want to go back when it's nice. And Ken, who's nodding his head, is going to come with us from Secatogue Brewery in West Islip, not East Islip.
Come
East
check
Islip,
out how
white
the
trash place.
Midwest brews the beer.
What did you do when you were here? When was it? How long ago was it?
2 years ago, we went to go see the Mets against the Chicago Cubs. It was May. And you guys had a storm that we ended up, the first game, it was so cold that night that we were sitting behind home plate because that's where they had the heaters. So they would let everybody sit by the wall for 5 minutes just to get warm. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, Wrigley in May can be tough. Early May with the winds coming off the lake.
Well, now you tell me, John. You could have fucking told me 2 years ago.
Jesus.
June. You got to come out in June. That's when it started. That's when it started. And then the ivy's growing on the walls. It's a great time.
Johnny, you on Instagram? Because I want to follow you. You're my new friend.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yep,
I don't want
we're
to
at
follow.
Open-
Hold on, wait. I don't want to follow you, Ken. You nod too much.
OpenOutCry Brewery. Jesus Christ. OpenOutCry Brewery.
Ken's ready to hit.
OpenOutCry
Hey,
Brewing.
John, Ken wants to punch me right in the fucking face right now. He's looking at me going, "You fat fuck! You ruined this whole show. You came on. It went from the Wort with Mike and Pete, and now it's the Wort with Graz and these two guys." All right, what's your name of the place?
By the way, that open door policy that we had is starting to be revoked.
No, it's not.
It's true.
Fuck off.
It's true.
we're on Instagram at OpenOutCry Brewing.
Yes,
Open Outcry.
That's all you have to do. It'll pop right back up there.
Oh,
in the
here it
search.
is.
Yeah, there it is.
There they are.
I'm following you. I'm GothamGoldGraz.com. Just follow me, okay?
And then
I'll
go
follow
on
you
to
right back.
Secatogue, SECATOGUE.
Hold on.
Nailed
How's
it.
your wife doing? Everybody all right?
Everyone's great.
Home's good? John, bear with us. Hold on a minute. You just
Yeah.
stay. You know what, John? I'm starting to like you, and I'm making an executive
Starting
decision.
to like you.
You stay on the whole time. I'll tell you when we're going to let you go. Hey, Ken.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Ken, I'm following you now.
Yes, there you
right?
go.
If you don't follow me, Ken, I'm coming to that fucking grand opening and punch you in the face. Can I have another beer, please?
You can. You want another one?
Just one more. That's
Yeah,
it.
take-
What do you got?
Yeah. Then drink this.
Oh, is that the? Wait, I don't want that. It's the same shit you gave me. I want something
Do you have another
different.
cup? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, he doesn't have a cup.
I had a
So
cup.
All
let's
right.
see. We'll
John,
get you a cup.
proceed, John. We apologize.
So,
John, you have to go anywhere to go for the next 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
Yeah, I want to stay until 11.
No,
We
I-
got
I-
26
Yeah, I'll hang
minutes.
out for a little bit. I'll hang out for a little bit.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
I want to get back to Ken now. As you're here, you can open, the
We've-
question bank up for Ken.
Ken.
I'm not trying to get John off the phone. I'm
Ken,
just
when are
saying.
you open? Ken, when are you opening up?
No set firm date yet. Early November.
I'm there. Okay,
You're there? You got
and
it.
we're there. That's all you need
the
to
where
know.
part of this is what's going to happen here. The where.
Oh, you
where-
better be there.
I told you I'm going to be there for all the openings.
See what I say, John, is this show is so unique that one of these brewers should just basically make us like the home base, and these guys should go and hang out at one of the breweries or all the breweries and do a live show there.
Well, we will be. We're outfitted to do some transportation. The problem is we really can't go beyond the cars. We can't fly or take a train.
But
It's too
I'll
much
take
gear.
you where you gotta
It's
go
too
for-
much gear to do. We're
Don't
not
worry
taking a
about it.
14-hour drive to Chicago.
No, I don't want to go to Chicago. I'm
Let's
talking.
not close the door. on
Yeah,
this.
really. Why
I'm
are you
not closing the door. I'm just saying it's a lot
Just
of.
think about it. We go to a Met game.
Yeah, I like
All
where you're
right.
going. Okay.
We get a good hotel.
Keep it going.
John sets us up with hookers, not hookers, strippers. Sorry, I apologize. John hooks us up. We go to John's place.
Okay.
We got a free dinner. He'll probably throw us a couple
Free
of drinks.
dinner? Where's the free dinner
He's
come
throwing
from?
us a couple of drinks. He
All
likes
right.
us.
You're
He might even slip
signing
us the
him
whole
up.
bill. That's
Yep.
so the first night, nothing because we went
Okay.
to what's
I
Open
don't
Cry.
like spending a little money. It doesn't bother me to spend money. God.
Second night we go there, and then we start spending a little money.
Okay.
John likes us a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we go to another Met game.
Yeah.
And then another strip joint.
Little bottle service at the strip joint. I
Yeah.
got you. All right.
How's that, John? Work out?
We can make that happen. I don't know about the hooker and strip club part, but
No, I don't need that. It's just it was a fantasy. I apologize.
Yes.
I closed my eyes.
We're
at that
all
point.
married men here,
Yeah,
and
please. I
our
couldn't
wives
pick up the
eventually will
flu.
stumble upon this at one point. So
I couldn't
What'd
pick
you
up the.
say?
I said I couldn't pick up the flu. Are you kidding me? She'd look at me and go, "What do you want, fat boy?"
So John,
what's on tap for the brewery? Not beer wise. That was a dumb way to phrase that.
Yeah, it was
what's coming up next? What do you guys got planned for the colder months out there in Chicago?
yeah, tomorrow tomorrow we're actually dropping our next stout, a coffee stout. There's a coffee roaster here in the city called Metropolis, and we partnered up with them to do this coffee stout. So that'll be released tomorrow. We're doing it. We started a barrel aging program about 7-8 months ago, and we've been using bourbon and rye barrels from a distillery in Southwest Michigan called Journeyman. And every once a month, we empty a few of those, and we throw those on draft and share some barrel aged beers with. We have a mug club, so our mug club members get first crack at drinking the barrel aged beers. So we're going to be doing another barrel aged release here probably next week sometime.
So I'm looking on here on your draft list, and you got 2 barrel aged beers, one, like you said, one in rye, one in bourbon barrels. What's the different flavor profile for those? Like what would I pick up in the rye barrel versus the bourbon barrel?
Yeah, it's interesting to put the same base stout in a rye barrel and a bourbon barrel and to see what the differences are. And with bourbon, you get this rich, sweet, People describe it differently. I get like a rich, sweet, almost, I want to use the word caramel type note to it. With maybe like,
Bourbon's the one with Mila Kunis, right? She does that fucking.
That's Jim Beam.
Jim Beam.
All right, close. Is that bourbon or not?
That's bourbon.
I'm not
yes.
mixing pumpkin beer with the IPA.
well, Jim Beam's a whiskey.
All right, I'm sorry.
But when you use rye, it gives it more of a drier. I don't want to use the word astringent, but it's a drier, sharper. It doesn't really present much sweetness, but it's a drier, sharper, astringent type. Almost tannins. I like to use the word tannins with rye, like you were getting wine. I don't know if everybody agrees with me.
Yeah,
on
that you'd normally find
you
in
definitely
wine.
don't have the sweetness like you get in bourbon.
Which one goes with a fat Bavarian pretzel? Why do you
I
get
would
so
say
quiet?
both.
That's a good question. Like they looked at me like, you fat fuck.
Both would, but I would prefer to go the salt and the pretzel. I'd prefer to pair that up with a lager or a cream ale, or even a pale ale, a citrus-based pale ale. Those pair nicely with salty appetizers.
You agree,
like
Ken? Ken, you agree?
I agree. Yeah. Ken, did you ever have the ability to, or given the opportunity to work with any barrel aging or anything like that?
No, not yet.
Do you plan on it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
How long are you doing it? I'm sorry. You probably said this already.
I've been homebrewing for, super seriously for about 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the experimentation takes a while to kind of work out your recipes.
Yeah.
I'll buy 500 cans from you.
Okay.
500 cans?
Yeah.
Right off the bat?
Yeah, you know what?
You don't want to get into contracts. I don't mean with you. Just mean in general. We talked about this.
Shut up, Michael. If I want to buy, holy crap, I want 5. John, you see what he just did? He stepped on me. He cock-blocked me for beers. What the hell is that? I wanted to know.
I'm not cock-blocking. I'm saying we just had this discussion today that sometimes when you're starting out, you don't want to reach what you're capable of doing.
Okay.
A lot of the money comes from the brewery and the tasting room.
Would you like to put a keg in my buddy's bar in
There you
Belmont?
go. That's
How's
more
that?
like it.
Would
That's
you like
possible.
to?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We will. When you open up, you get me a keg. I will have a keg in the third rail in Belmore.
There you go.
And we will promote it, and we will do very nice. You'll look at me and go, "Look at this guy. He actually helped me."
No, he
Trust
will.
me. You're gonna like me. I got hooks everywhere.
Hey, John, how far is your reach of your brewery? How far do you go out into the state or beyond that to reach an audience?
Because we're a brew pub and we don't distribute, we stay relatively local. We'll do beer fests within, 25, 30-mile radius of the brewery.
Okay.
After that, it doesn't make much sense for us to venture out or try to promote.
Because if you're not willing to drive that far, your customers probably aren't.
Well, not anymore. With all the
right.
the number of breweries that we have in operating now, you don't have to drive far distances to go to multiple breweries. So. We try to we focus local. We focus on this neighborhood that we operate in.
Dude, you better get in touch with John. You better get in touch with John. You better get in touch with Ken over here because he has not stopped nodding on everything you said. So you're like perfect. You two should be friends. Everything that you said, he's nodded. Not once has he turned the other way. I'm telling you. All right.
So, I guess that's the question. So you do some festivals, you do some, things out and about. So you do have a slight reach beyond the brew pub.
We do. Our goal when we leave here and do a fest or do an event, we're trying to promote the idea that you should get in your car, drive here with your family, your friends, drink some good beer, and have a nice meal, and hang out in the tap room for the afternoon.
That's cool. How big is the tap room, square footage wise?
Square footage, the actual seating area around 2,000 square feet. We have a little over about 120 seats.
Okay.
The brewery itself is about 1,500 square feet. We have a 7-barrel brew house. We did in our first 12 months. We did I think somewhere around maybe 750. The numbers in front of me, around 750 barrels.
Okay.
Which for a brew pub of our size isn't too bad. We brew 2 or 3 times a week. We're going through a lot of beer in a given week, so we're pretty happy with how things have gone the first year.
That's pretty cool. John, anything else to add about what you got on tap or anything before we let you go and just finish out the show with Ken?
Our next project is a rooftop beer garden. We're finishing construction on a rooftop beer garden. It'll probably bring somewhere around 90 to 100 seats.
That's pretty cool.
get
You
it.
too? You got one too, Ken?
I wish.
Yeah, it'd be freaking dope.
You smiled and nodded more than you had, and I'm like, wait a minute. This
No, I
guy's
think
got
Ken
one
was
too?
like,
sounds
oh,
awesome.
You have like
rooftop
any,
beer,
you have
that
any kind of
sounds dope.
dude, I'm telling you, we're going there.
Yeah.
You got an outside place or anything like that for
Not
you guys?
yet.
No, but he's got triplets, so it's
Yeah,
going to be
that's right.
hard for him to get away
You
for
have
2 days.
triplets?
Yeah.
Oh, John, get off the fucking phone.
I gotta
Before
tell
I
you,
leave, we
that-
got to talk to Ken about what the fuck he's going through. This guy
I mean,
got
open it up.
What?
Open up a brewery is one of the hardest things you can do. Not only the actual building of the brewery, but navigating government and getting licenses and all that. And then you add triplets to it. That
like a
sounds
fucking bad joke.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah.
What do you think? Listen, in about 2 weeks, Gubs Radio is going to have the Secatogue Brewery show because Ken's going to want to get out of the house.
Get out of the house ASAP.
Are you kidding me?
I'm surviving.
Yeah.
I don't know how. How old are they right now?
Almost 4.
Oh,
That's what I said. He got out of the shit.
That's a great age
Yeah.
now. Now you just want to go to the brewery just to get away from your wife, really. You know,
Forget- they
That's
take
why-
the kids with you.
John,
Yeah,
that's why I
exactly.
do this show. That's how it started. I had to get the fuck out of the house. I'm like, what is it? Midlife crisis. I'm 50 years old. Haven't been on the radio in 4 years. Let's get out of the house. I'm in. And then we opened up the Wort with Mike and Pete where they can drink on air. I'm there too.
You know what? I'm glad. I'm glad you didn't say Pete and the Penis. That's all.
I
I'm
haven't
glad about.
called you the
Just
Pete
once.
and Penis show.
Yeah.
Once today, did
Yeah,
I?
you did once. But that's all
That's
right.
it.
On the phone before.
John, I call him on my show. We call it the Wort with Mike and Pete, which is the name. But on my show, it's called the Wort with Pete and the Penis. So
It's just a clever little lovely nickname we've acquired. John,
Yes.
listen.
And Mike loves it.
Mike,
Yes.
Pete loves it. Pete smiles, but Mike fucking hates it. The first night, I turned to him. I ask him. I go, Mike, listen, I'm going to call you that from now on in. You know that. By the second week on my show, he calls me up. He goes, you think maybe you want to calm down and not say it that much? I go,
Like-
no, it's going to continue on forever.
It's a very cute pet name.
I'm
you've
getting a
given me. I
T-shirt with
appreciate
Mike
it.
and Pete and the penis in the back. I'm telling you, it's a winner.
All right, John, let me let you go so you can get back to brewing and drinking like we are. But we're not brewing, we're drinking. So OpenOutCry Brewing, south side of Chicago. Go on the Instagram. It's OpenOutCry Brewing. Give us some other information. You got a website, you got phone numbers, you got other things that we can follow you with?
Yeah, you can find us on the web at www.OpenOutCryBrewing.com.
Okay.
We're on Instagram, like you said. We're also on Facebook, Twitter. We're on the far south side of Chicago. If any of your listeners are in the Chicagoland area, we're in the Beverly Morgan Park neighborhood at 10934 Southwestern Avenue in Chicago.
Yeah, definitely check them out. They look like they got a ridiculous lineup. Check out their website. You can see the menu in regards to food that they got, the beer lineup, the tap list, and everything else that's going on there. And listen, John, when you do get to New York or when you're planning on a trip, give us a ring. We'll set something up, get you here in the studio with us.
I will for sure. That sounds like fun.
All right, John. Thanks a lot for calling in.
John,
We appreciate it.
John.
Thanks, John.
John.
Yes, sir.
I hope your team fucking gets crushed tomorrow.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, John.
All right, guys.
All right, later.
I hope they get fucking crushed tomorrow.
Jesus.
I want-
Can you do anything but like just completely
railroad the whole show?
Every guest we ever have on?
Yeah, but
you
they
know what?
come
Everyone
back.
loves it. Yeah, they all-
Ken said you listen, correct?
Yeah, I
you,
did.
You've
Yeah.
listened.
And you've heard
Am
every
I-
single
am I-
brewery guest
am I
get
not? Am I
blasted.
not the best fucking segment on this show? I'm the reason why people come. Are you kidding me? No, you know what? It's all good.
Yeah.
That's all. What's that? Yeah, you got all the little things. That was my last thing.
Yeah.
You have? Can you? I'll take care of it. I'll pay you. Can you do an opening clip for Limo Talk?
Well, you gotta
like you do. Wait,
You want
I
like an
you to-
opening song?
Yeah, I want you to do the flute, and then I want you to do. And then I want you to do a
Fucking
little
flute?
The flute. The song by Rutt. Ken, do you like? Time out.
Are
I'm gonna-
we?
No, wait.
We're doing this on
Wait,
air
wait.
again?
No.
Oh, come on.
We're gonna
It's
take
a good
it.
song.
Listen,
What's the problem?
You're gonna be done. We're gonna take a quick break because I got to pee
There
so
we go.
bad. We had him on.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to talk to.
No,
Pete.
we're not leaving.
We're not
taking
leaving.
a
We're
quick
coming right
break.
back.
We're coming right back.
Oh,
All
And
right.
we're going to have this
Stop
conversation
fucking
about
yelling at me,
programming the
Pete.
goddamn
Well,
machine off the fucking air.
All right, listen. We're gonna take a quick break. I gotta pee, and we're coming back
Dude,
with
I
Graz
saw him in the story.
and
He's the
Ken from
nicest guy in the
Secatogue.
fucking world. I see him in here. He fucking goes at me. Holy crap!
We'll be right back. This is the Word with Mike and Pete.
Fuck
Gubs
off.
Radio.
Show sucks.
moron. It's pronounced the Wort.
What the hell is a wort?
It's pronounced the Wort.
What is it? The wort? Yeah, okay.
This is the word with Mike and Pete. I don't know. The whole thing is screwed up.
So then you do it according to your standards, or whatever it is. You're the one who put it together. Are they changing it?
I'm gonna have to fix it.
So then, well, are they changing it? Did they change it?
No, don't change it. That was all just me.
I'll
It's
start
the
a
word with
radio
Mike
war.
and Pete.
Everyone's so
GovsRadio.com.
angry.
It's a hard.
Why are mommy and daddy fighting?
Nothing is. Nothing worked right there.
Sorry, Pete.
You know what it is? It's I have now this back and forth since I loaded all of the tags and stuff and the breaks in here. I got to remember to switch over. So once that's going, it just all screwed up. So that's all right. This is where Mike and Pete, GovsRadio.com. We're still streaming live on our YouTube page. Did you, by any chance, mute that during the break?
Sure did.
All right.
And I even remembered to unmute it on the way back.
You are the best. Thank you, Pete. And in studio, we have Ken from Secatogue Brewing. And, of course, our longtime listener, first-time guest, second-time guest?
Second-time guest.
Really?
You've been in here twice?
Really?
Anthony
I'm
Grassaday from the Little Talk
I'm the
podcast
cog
here
behind
on-
the show. Even Ken admitted it. I turned to Ken. I go, you listen? He goes, yeah, I've listened a lot. I go, I am the best part of the show.
You call in a lot more than you're here, though, which
Yeah,
is fine.
I-
We'd love to hear from you.
You know what it is, Ken? Here's the truth.
What we got?
Pete deals with me. Michael, he's all right with me, but Michael's wife thinks I'm very funny, which that in turn gives me I get full reign in this place.
Yeah, Carte blanche.
I got carte blanche. I could care less what he thinks. He's not the funny part of the show. Pete is.
In the end, I'm the one that has to live with my wife, who's the one that's going to tell me whether it's good or bad show all day, every day.
And she's
so.
never once turned to you when we've been on the air and said it's been bad.
She has. She's not that bad. That she just. There was. I'll talk to you about it off air. But there was a couple of interviews that we did that were just like.
Oh, was it me?
Yeah.
I don't
No.
All right.
Never was you.
All right.
Listen, it was
Nope.
never you. Don't
All right,
worry
that's
about
all I
it. There
care
was a
about.
couple
Fuck
that
the interviews. That 45 minutes. I got a grain, and I'm in a fire department.
No, but
and
there's a
we're now
couple we
putting a
had-
brewery in
No,
there. We're
no.
not a kitchen.
Listen, Jones Beach was awesome. I'm not
that was
going
a fucking
there.
blast. I didn't.
Yeah,
Dan,
no,
I like
it's
Dan. I
it
like.
was
Dan.
early on. It was early on.
Okay.
You go back and do the replays on a Hopped Up Network, on the Laughable app, on iTunes. You can check it all out. Some of the early episodes, we were just getting our chops, and we were trying to figure out the best way to kind of attack our show
I
format.
remember one of them. I was like fucking drumming.
It was pulling teeth, but that was fine. It in the end, it actually worked out.
It's
People
different
gave-
personalities. I mean,
Right.
I'm not
And-
exactly a likable person, so I don't know why.
Everyone hates you. So,
You
I
better-
mean,
And again, that's they tell me at work, and I tell them they're 100% right.
I don't deny a single word of it.
And you better step it up, Ken, or you might go in that boring, category too.
No, Ken's fine.
According to
That's what I
you.
shoot for, fine.
Yeah, no,
See, that's the stuff.
No,
That's what we're
it's-
aiming for.
Trust me.
He's shooting for average.
No, no.
I'm fine with fine.
As
Am I in the
opposed
bell
to
curve?
Great. My beer is fantastic. My social skills, I'm okay. You want to do a commercial for Govs Radio, Graz? Sure. It's Secatogue Brewery in West Islip, not East Islip, which is the white trash part of
Oh, Jesus
Islip.
Christ! Don't bash the Long Island right
We've
now.
got 20. How many taps?
46.
Are you gonna have 46 taps?
Seems like
what are you,
you're
Croxley,
overreaching
what are you,
there.
Croxley L's?
8 to 10.
8 to 10,
Yeah.
huh? That's that's great.
That's a lot.
Are you allowed to now? You're not allowed to serve food, so you have a food truck there?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are the good food trucks these
Yeah.
days?
That's there. Oh, look at that.
Like, do you have a
The
list
Wort with
of
Mike and
like,
Pete.
or do you
It's
do
a
it
food
by
show now.
reference, or how do you go about picking who's going to be there?
It's kind of like who's available.
Okay.
But it's, I'm just starting to get into that now because I didn't want to start scheduling anything. These guys are so busy. My open date has changed 10 times.
Right.
So it's
Why? Why has that happened? Just the laws and just the
construction, town, you name
so
it.
when were you originally slated to open?
Memorial Day.
Wow.
And then it was 4th of July. Then it was Labor Day. Then it was Halloween. We're getting closer.
Yeah. Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
it's
are you
there.
financially? Are you going to be okay? You guys
We're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay. I'll throw you a couple shekels if you need it. I'll throw you a loan.
You
I got high interest rates. I'll give you a 10.
What do you got? 22.2? What do you
No,
got?
it's about cash. If you want 100, you got to give me 150 back.
Jesus
You only got about
Christ.
3 months. Anything on the
Terrible.
90
Usury.
everything over 90 days, I'll be at your fucking brewery that morning. Hey, Ken,
Hello.
open the door. Oh, wait, Ken, you don't want to open the door? Okay, let me fucking
Beer-
finish.
beer
I'm gonna
or
wait? Where's
money?
your canisters of beer? Here. All right, there goes one. Oh, there you go. No, I only need gunshots. Gunshots on this fucking.
Gunshots?
Yeah.
You mean you want this?
Yeah, if he goes over 90 days, that's what I'm gonna do. Show up, Kenny. There you go. Right in the fucking barrel of beer.
No, then you're spoiling all the money he's gonna make on the beer.
He ain't making money because he ain't paying back the money I gave him.
You don't even. I don't think you see the long term here.
I see 3 months.
Long
That's
game.
like, 90 days are good enough. Open
Listen,
the doors.
he's not going to take a loan from the University of Graz Bank. It's just not going to happen.
Ken, don't worry, we'll talk.
Yeah. It's a family-owned facility.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Who's involved?
It's me, my brothers, and my dad.
So now your brothers and dad are listening, right? Are they listening?
They might have been before, yeah.
They might be sleeping now.
Oh, when I got on, they bored. They were
Yeah,
like,
no.
hey, we jump now. All right. So how old?
It was 10:15 and shit just got crazy. So they're like, it's too much. At
That's a little too much. Mildred, I'm going to bed.
Mildred.
Ken's still on. Ken's still on.
Is this 1927? What are you talking about?
All right, Mildred. What's your mom's name? Dad's name?
Mike.
Mike.
there you go.
Oh, there
Mike
you
and
go.
Diana. Yeah,
Mike and Diana.
Yep.
Okay. Have they ever been in the beer business before?
No.
So just came out of nowhere with you?
Yeah, left field.
What were you doing before this?
Retail.
Oh, that's gotta suck.
Yeah, it blows.
Oh, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
How much cooler?
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah.
Can you tell me where the fucking water is? Yeah, down on the fork. Go fuck
Christmas
yourself.
Eve.
How
Yeah,
much
all
cooler
that
is it
shit.
just to brew beer all day and freaking sell it?
Astronomically.
Do you have beer available right now?
No. I would have had it here.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, you're a real winner.
Yeah,
this is the Wort with Mike and Pete. Yeah,
The views expressed by Anthony Graz today do not necessarily represent the views of the
Can't wait
Mike
to
and
get
Pete
these
the Wort
guys,
podcast.
Mike, it's 2019 in June.
I'm gonna need a
Mike,
whole
did
separate tag
Secatogue open
just
yet?
for you.
Did Secatogue open yet? Oh, they're waiting for the ordinance to come in. The guy, how is he doing?
Listen,
Mildred and Johanna, they bailed.
He's been through so much.
He needs to be busting his chops.
I know he needs you. Fucking adding,
Ken, you know what? You'll do fine.
Yeah,
as
he
long
will.
as the beer, our philosophy at the Wort with Mike and Pete is as long as the beer is good and cold and has a good alcohol content and doesn't taste like Coors Light or Bud Light, you're a winner.
I check all those
That
boxes.
last part is very important.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you make a Graz beer, you're even bigger of a winner.
Graz beer.
One of these guys, I'm telling you, Dan Moss is going to take me up on. I'm telling you, I'm going
If
to.
anyone is.
Yeah.
He owes me a lie. Drop his name every show.
Yeah, that's true. Ken, we're nearing the end of the show here, and we have so much left to discuss with the future of the brewery. Where do you see this ending up? Do you see it as just a local place, or do you want to think about expanding or going beyond, or what are some of the big things you're trying to achieve, the bucket list things that are on your list?
I mean, I'm not looking to go huge. I'm not looking to be a regional powerhouse type deal because I think the industry is changing and that model is just not going to play out. It seems the breweries that are kind of struggling, right? Not necessarily struggling, but
Too big for their bridges.
right. They kind of expanded too quickly, and now the competition in that mid-regional brewery is super tight because you got a lot of these guys at this larger scale who are fighting for tap space. It's the smaller
That may have
guys.
gotten brought up by AB InBev or someone,
right,
or
possibly
Miller Coors.
something like that.
Let me ask you a really stupid question.
What we got?
You're putting all those beers you brewed, correct, on a tap.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to expand that tap and use other beers from other breweries, is there something that's just not done, or like?
Oh no, that's a lot of breweries will do a guest.
I've never. They will do a
Yeah.
guest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
See,
huge.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mythology in Farmingdale has, they usually have one or two guest taps.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I've been- so
I
I've
thought
se-
I
I've
know
seen
they all got
breweries-
along, but I didn't know if they shared the beer.
Yeah.
on
I've seen breweries split the board.
Really?
Yeah, for
Great South
special
Bay
events.
or
Yeah.
Brewers Collective.
Or even when
Yeah.
How come you keep
Dubco
filling your
was
glass
going
up?
through their construction changes,
Yeah.
they had to bring in a ton of guest taps.
Right, they had like Sand City because
Right. Yeah,
Sand
absolutely.
City had their
They had
whole
people that have to
tasting
step
room
up.
closing.
He keeps filling up his glass. My
Well,
glass.
you didn't want the beer that I was going to give you. It was the Montauk Pumpkin, by the way, for anyone that's looking on YouTube. We're drinking Montauk Pumpkin. We're drinking a whole bunch of stuff. We'll take pictures after the show to show you what we kind of consumed tonight.
Yeah, and I gotta go in like 10 minutes. So you.
In lieu of Ken's initial startup here, that when he opens, we'll be all there drinking nothing but Secatogue
That's
beer.
right.
Now, what's your? I know you're gonna say all of them are your favorite. What is your favorite one that you like? If you sat there and said, Graz is gonna walk in. It's a November when you open up. We're watching fucking Giants. They're 3-11 or whatever the fuck they are.
3-11 is
Sam
so
Darnold. Sam
true.
Darnold broke his ankle. He's fucking. Who's in there now?
Jets suck.
Chips. What's it? Chip
McGowan.
Smith? No. Oh, yeah.
McGowan.
What was the guy
Yeah,
before that? Smith.
Yeah.
Backup quarterback for the
yeah.
whatever.
You're right.
Okay, so McCown's in there, and I just need something to get my mind off it. What's the beer that you recommend?
So you're looking for like heavy alcohol?
I
am
big on anything that's over a 6.9 that seems to have like that color right there, and a little bit stronger than that.
So
I like that.
Probably my Belgian triple.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
around,
yeah.
8.5%.
That'll put hair on my nipples.
Oh yeah.
I could use
It will
that.
make the nipple hair
There aren't
stand
any
up
more.
straight.
There aren't any currently.
No, there are, but I want them to stand. So,
Yes.
what's the alcohol content on that?
8.5, 9.
Oh,
there
we
we
go.
go. Oh, that's about the third one when I start sweating from my brow.
That's right.
My wife looked at me the other night. She goes, "Why are you sweating?" I go, "I'm on my third IPA." She goes, "How strong?" I go, 7.6. She goes, "What?" She goes, "Give me the keys." I go, "No way." We're here. I go, "We're here for the duration."
A long haul.
Oh, dude,
right.
I'm telling you, we got to go there. And Ken Secatogue, since he's the first guy I met, you're first. I'm putting you up there.
There you go.
Cool.
Look at that. Everyone else was a phoner.
Yeah,
so
really.
Couldn't.
Oh
couldn't
no, I
have
was
that
here with
personal-
another
Dan.
guy.
Well,
I was here with
second time we
Dan,
had
and
Dan.
then I was here with another guy. Had his girl here too.
Spider Bite.
No, I wasn't here for Spider Bite. Before Spider Bite, another brewer brought a girl in.
I'll have to think about that.
He was
one.
very quiet. I think he was in Long Beach. Is that? Oh,
No.
that's the one I jacked up the show a little bit. I walked in.
Yeah, that's every show, but
Yeah,
that's
but-
fine. That's why we bring you in.
All right,
and jack it
thanks.
all up.
I appreciate it.
So looking forward thinking, as we were saying.
Right, that's what we were on.
Yeah. What's
Till I derailed the conversation. I apologize.
That's what I'm
I'm
air
just
traffic controller
I'm
here.
just a dick.
We're in hour 3 of our podcast here, but that's fine. The concept of becoming the local spot, the big spot. I mean, what is it going to take to do that in your forward thinking? I guess.
I mean, I'd like to expand the location I'm at.
Do you have the ability to do that? Do you have some?
I have some room. I got
Okay.
a little buffer zone there.
Nice.
I like to add a big outdoor area.
Do you have access to that to be able to do that?
I gotta.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I gotta listen. I gotta know.
Here we go
I
again.
got,
He's
I
got a
got
guy.
a guy in Long Island City. He's my boss in Vital Transportation.
Right.
Got 400 town cars. Dude, the guy's got money. We'll get a couple of Armenian money. We'll build a fucking deck. Place will be
What are we
packed.
talking about? Like,
Armenian money.
It's gonna be the Vital Transportation deck
Yeah,
at
listen,
Secatogue
we'll
Brewing.
we'll get a sponsored.
There you go.
We'll
It's
go
a sponsored
Vital
beach deck.
Transportation deck. Right in the back. I'm telling you, it'll work.
All right,
And we'll
all
put a
right.
bus right there. We'll transport everybody
You do a
from
helicopter
east.
too?
Well, we'll
Get
do
a
from
helicopter
east.
on the roof?
A helipad.
You need
Helipad
it.
on the
Love
Listen,
it.
I could get you almost everything. I can't get you. I probably can't get you a speedboat.
Okay. I
All
don't need
right,
one,
but
that's
I
all
could get you a helicopter.
Speedboat?
Yes, I can't. I don't know anybody in the water.
All right.
We got hooks in helicopters.
That's
and,
true.
And planes. Whatever
Vital
you need.
Transportation is all about that.
Yeah, dude, we'll get you
as
anywhere.
long as you're not on the water.
Yeah,
Check.
as long as you're not in the water. Check. I'm not in.
It's just a boat dry docked on a trailer, just sitting there, like, yeah, cool, this is awesome. Enjoy.
Yeah, I can't get you that.
This is the cigarette boat sponsored by Vital Transportation. There's a bar open on the aft.
Why are there a bunch of black hookers in the back and underneath?
Why
Oh,
does it always have to be black hookers?
I don't know, white hookers too.
Oh, fair
I like
enough.
them
All right,
both.
good.
I wasn't
Yeah,
trying to be biased about it.
Equal prostitution for all.
Equal.
Hashtag me too.
Yeah. Hashtag me too. No, but listen, we'll get, dude, if you need transportation, I'll get a bus out there.
right.
We'll put a big sign that says Secatogue. We're in.
Done.
We're in.
Love it.
I love it too.
All right, Ken, last little promotional bit here. Give us all the info about the brewery, the social media, the contacts, everything.
So Secatogue Brewing Company coming to you hopefully early November if all goes according to plan. We're at 375 Union Boulevard in West Islip. Catch us on Instagram at Secatogue Brew Co.
I followed you.
There you
You
go.
still haven't
Good.
followed me
That's
back.
right.
Thanks, you prick.
He's sitting here.
Somebody said, so what? Take your phone out.
The show's not even over.
But he can multitask.
Give him a
We seem
minute.
to be on
Give
the
him a
phone.
minute.
As soon as we
He
wrap.
hasn't
All
stopped.
right,
No,
He's
no,
focused. We're not.
Yeah.
We're never focused.
You catch me on Facebook
Yep.
and SecatogueBrewingCompany.com.
Awesome.
And he's right across from Pudgy's Chicken.
That's
Yes.
right.
Dude, I want to tell you
very important to me.
Okay, my ex-wife, her father-in-law was an owner of Pudgy's Chicken.
Oh, he was a franchise
He
owner.
was a franchise owner.
There you go.
He lost his fucking ass.
I think it's the last one
had
in
a
America.
massive-
is
He had
in
a
West
massive
Islip.
heart attack in his sleep. When I used to come home the last
All
2
that
months he was
chicken.
alive, all he used to say is, "My fucking life sucks." He goes, all I want to do, I can't stand my wife. I can't stand my fucking business. He fucking dropped dead on the fucking couch. He hated Pudgies. Now when you brought it up, I was laughing the whole way. I'm like, wow, Lenny would have liked it. There's still Pudgies around.
And with that, we thank everybody for listening in tonight.
That's it. We're done.
What a note to end
This is the Wort with Mike and Pete. We're sponsored by Pudgy's Chicken. Also,
Hey, Ken, by the way, I hope you fucking Yankees get their asses kicked in. I hope Oakland run rules you on Wednesday night.
So bitter.
we want to thank our sponsor, MyBomberJackets.com. Go on to MyBomberJackets.com. Type in Wort, W-O-R-T, 15 to save 15% on your order of 16-ounce cans or better. They have 12-ounce cans, 16-ounce cans. They got pint glass bomber jackets. They got 22-ounce bomber jackets. Check them out, MyBomberJackets.com, Wort15 for the promo code. Anthony Graz today in studio today. We thank you for coming in, buddy.
Oh, dude, I love this show. The Wort with Mike and Pete, the greatest show, the greatest beer show in the United States.
Thank you
and
very much.
Ken and I are best friends right now.
That's right.
All right, Ken, follow me on Instagram. Trust me.
Yeah.
You want to come to my
So
show.
needy.
Limo Talk. I am very needy. Limo Talk at Graz on Thursday nights. Trust
There
me,
you
it's
go.
a
We thank the
top-notch
Hopped
show.
Up Network for
I
helping
want
us out
on
in
there.
Jersey.
Tell the Jersey guys
I'll let them know, but they're really craft beers. You got to
But
really
wait a minute.
step up your
If
craft
I put
beer
a
talk.
beer in my limo,
Yeah.
and I have Vital sponsor the limo with the beer, it's
not
a
how it
beer
works.
show.
That's not how it works.
No, wait. I could talk.
I'll
wait.
talk to him.
Listen,
I'll
I'll
talk to
I'll
him.
make my Ken and I are going to Ken. I want to make a beer. Oh, we're friends.
Have you cut his mic yet?
All right.
Oh, look at this. Who needs you? Go fuck
that.
yourself, O'Toole. Your show
All right.
sucks.
It's the Word with Mike at PeteGubsRadio.com. Check us out on all our replays coming up here. It's iTunes, Hopped Up Network, Laughable app on rotation here at GubsRadio.com. Ken from Secatogue Brewing, thanks a lot for coming in, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. And we always have good times here, and we will definitely be there at the opening. We could actually broadcast live from the opening.
Hey, let's
You got Wi-Fi?
Oh, dude, please.
Yeah.
You got
So then we'll be
Wi-Fi?
there.
The last guy that was in here, he's like, oh, I mean, that's an extra cost here. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, guy. You opening up a brewery. You're not going to put fucking internet in there, you dumb.
All right, folks, we'll be back coming up October 15th with 27A Brewing Company and October 29th with Harborhead.
Are they open already, these guys?
Those guys, 27A, maybe?
Here we go.
27A,
We'll see.
not yet. Harborhead,
yet.
definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
boy.
They've
They'll
been
be
open for a
open in
little while.
June. We'll see you in June during the summer times. We'll see you at Jones Beach when they open up, too. We got to get somebody that's going to open up. Christ, somebody get a fucking grand opening.
And with that, we say goodnight, folks.
Later.
Well, that's 2 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
Are you kidding me?